Hey, this is Liz, and you're listening to 90 Day Fiance Fridays.
Welcome everybody to 90 Day Fiance Fridays on the flagship day, which is Friday. We're here with George and Gina, and our crowd has a lot of our regulars like Pineapple Girl and Lana and JL and Izzy and Davey and some few others. So welcome everyone.
Hello, guys. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. Cheers to the weekend.
Cheers to the weekend.
Sure, should we just hop into our topics?
Well, hold on. Pineapple Girl asked a question in the chat. It says, "What kind of illegal alcohol do you have at home, Gina?" What is illegal alcohol?
It's called moonshine.
And it's illegal where you live?
Mm-hmm. Because it's like 90% alcohol.
Is it illegal here?
If it's the real kind of moonshine, yeah, you can make it.
Oh, I didn't know that there
Yeah.
was an illegal alcohol. That's crazy.
And
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right. Yeah.
on
So,
to the topics.
yeah, let's just have it. That caught my attention, and I was like, "What's illegal about alcohol? What?"
Yeah, Johnny Knoxville of Jackass, he has the real moonshine. Anyway. Okay, so let's just go through our topics. So a lot of these are in references in my social media posts. So did you see the photo I posted? We may have talked about this. I don't know. Sometimes the shows blend together, but did we talk about Colty being sighted in Portland?
That was the picture. Wait, was that the picture with Debbie and Tony, or was that a different picture?
Yeah,
That was, yeah,
there's the picture, and then there's also the video as well.
the one that she's in like a wheelchair, or not a wheelchair.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, and I was a little surprised, but then people were like, "Well, no, you know that she walks with a cane." And I
Mhm.
was like, "Oh my God, she did." So they were like, "It's not completely off the wall that someone who walks with a cane is now using a wheelchair."
Scooter thing.
Well, yeah, I saw it and I don't know why my mind just went like, what the hell? But then people were reminding me like, no, remember she was walking with a cane. That means that she's having difficulty.
Mm-hmm.
It's not completely off the wall to do that. And then I was like, damn, I hate the idea that Debbie's getting old. Right? I hate that because I was like, is she old enough to be doing that? And then I Googled it and I was like, well, she is. Right? She is.
Yeah, let me just say, like Debbie's super, when I privately messaged her, she's always super sweet to me and she's very kind. So let me just put that out there.
Oh, I love her. She's great. I think she's great, and I think her and Colt have had a big falling out, and I think they're getting back on speaking terms, which I think is good. I think Colt can be a real a-hole. So,
Mhm.
and that's just not just his mom, but ask any of his exes. I think he has that trait. So I'm glad that he's working on. When people go to AA and they try to make amends, he's like fixing some stuff, like fixing the shit with his mom. That's a good thing.
Yeah, and I won't say the amount. I mean, I guess I could, but I will say and let me just say allegedly anyway, but Colt is in he's in debt. He's in a lot of like financial debt too.
Wait, okay. How do we know this?
I don't want to out my sources, but yeah. Well, I'll text you the amount and then you tell me if it's like a lot or a little.
Oh,
Like,
you know the amount.
yeah.
Oh, I'm in finance. I can tell you right off the bat, and I've worked at a collection agency. I can tell you right off the bat whether it's a lot.
Okay. Well, I texted y'all and then that's how.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
okay. That's a lot. Okay.
Oh, and then if you want, I'll put the amount in our Patreon chat for our paid listeners. Y'all could you
Yeah, and then they can decide if that's a lot. I think it's a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're
So,
listening live and you're on our Patreon, you can know how much debt Pulte's in.
but when he lost his job, and I'm assuming there's no new job. I'm assuming that's what's going on, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know
so
the
I think
whole.
he's one. Let me just say allegedly for the hell of it, but yeah, I think he's another one of those guys where it's like he's in debt in the United States, so his whole goal is to like not be in the United States to flee his.
Oh, yeah,
So his whole point of view is like, what's her face for that moved from paying her parking tickets on the
yeah.
troll.
I was gonna say there's a plenty of people that try to run from their debts or their bills. They'll even move to another country, and it's like I don't know. Do your bills stop chasing you? I feel like they'll always chase you, right? At some point, they're gonna.
Well, it just depends, and I guess it depends on what state, but there is a statute of limitations. Um, but once a collection agency has it, then you're basically screwed, and then it'll go to another collection agency. So
No,
um,
I think
the best
that it.
bet would be to file for bankruptcy at this point in time.
So, and then the latest news, though, I guess I'm like going through these topics kind of quick, but the latest news as of like 3 hours ago, there's a post that said it was on Reddit and it said, I just met Colt. I'm just gonna say Colty because it's funnier. I just met Colty in Colombia. And then this is the fan talking. It says, it seemed like a dream. I'm visiting family in Bogota, and as I strolled around a fancy mall, bam, there he was. He was with a girl with dyed red hair who didn't seem too happy that I stopped him to say hi. He was very kind, but seemed somewhat annoyed that he could be recognized globally. My biggest regret was not asking for a selfie. It all happened so fast. So he went from like Portland, Oregon to like Colombia.
So he's in Colombia with some chick.
Yeah, and then for the super duper fans that are listening, if you go to I mean, I made an independent post about it, but I also did a subsequent post from the Tony, Debbie, and Colty post image, zooming in on Colt and his necklace. And if you'll notice, it's like let's just, at this point, let's call it a Colombian themed necklace. So he's wearing this like Colombian-esque necklace that his girlfriend gave him. So it all kind of
Oh, so and that was on his episode of Diaries.
I don't know if Diaries went into all that because, as you know, Diaries already feels outdated.
Because the photo that I'm looking at, that looks like when they were sitting in the coffee shop on Diaries, doesn't it?
No, I mean, it may look like it, but
But that's not the same one.
no, I think this is a more recent, that was more recently they all got together.
Oh, he's got friendship bracelets from all these whores.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I wonder if this chick existed when he was filming The Hunt for Love. Like or did he meet her after that? Like I don't know.
He always has like, what's it called? Like irons in the fire or something.
Oh yeah, he has backup hoes, right? He always has a hoe on backup, like on standby, which I didn't know until you told me recently. It's because he made six-figure income. I used to question, I was like, why are all these women like jumping at the opportunity to be with him? I never understood it. But then when you told me that he made all that money at this job, and I understood it a little more because I was like, how does he always have a chick in his back pocket?
Like it makes sense if he held the job for a long time, but I feel like he lost that job. Like he wasn't there on that job for very long. So nowadays it doesn't make, that's not as good of a.
Well, he had the job when he was with Larissa, right?
Yes.
That was like a long time ago. Like at least 6, 7, 8 years. No, probably longer, probably 10 years ago. So a decade is pretty decent to keep a decent job.
I mean, I'm not for certain that he had that job during the Larissa days.
So why was she here? Just because she wanted a green card?
I don't know, but yeah, I don't know how long he had that six-figure job, and I know he like lost it at some point. So,
Well, it seemed like recently he lost it, like within the last year. So he had it because he was living in Vegas, and I think when he lost the job, he moved to, I think, Utah.
Salt Lake.
Yeah,
Salt Lake with his uncle.
Utah. And it sounds to me like he didn't have any savings because it's like he lost his job and he was immediately homeless.
But how do you go from making six figures to owning $30,000?
but that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like my guess, and again, I'm not 100% sure, but my guess, probably I'm talking about the high-end six-figure job. I feel like he probably had that less than a year, and he fucked it up.
I mean, it's possible. It's very possible.
Hold on, let me see if he's on LinkedIn. Hold on.
I remember. Okay, so my thought, I could be wrong. When he was on the show for the very first time and he was with Larissa, I remember him saying that he worked in security. But you said that it was like IT-ish security. So I was like, now I'm confused. I thought he was a security guard, like a rent-a-cop. So I don't know exactly what he
Can he actually run?
He's like Paul Blart.
Well, I was gonna say, did Paul Blart run? No. So security guards who can't pass the medical exam for to be a cop, right? So yeah, those guys are definitely not in the best shape. They couldn't get on the actual team of the police force. So, and can we even call them mall cops anymore? Because I feel like there's not even that many malls anymore. Like I don't even. Maybe you call it like a strip mall,
Kind
cop.
of like a at this point it's like the rent a cop, like rent a security bullshit.
Well, right. That's
Yeah.
like the rent a cop. Okay, yeah, that's a better term because they have those in
Like shopping centers and shit.
shopping centers, and they like drive around in their little security car and make sure no one
They have
steals.
like the yellow light on the car.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's probably. But I thought, okay, so my initial thought was that was what he did because he was a overweight guy and he said I work in security. So my mind first went to, oh, he's a rent-a-cop, a mall cop. But if he worked in IT security this whole time, that would be different. So I don't even know.
True.
Oh wait, is this the LinkedIn? Did I just get the LinkedIn?
I think so. I think it's his. It doesn't have a picture though, but it makes sense, the timeline.
Well, it says he lives in Henderson, Nevada. That's where he lived when he was on the show.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
But
okay,
look at when he left.
2011 to 2014, he was a restoration tech. What's that?
I don't know. I'll look up that description as
Yeah.
well.
True. Well, anyways, what else? So let's keep moving. So then the tea that I posted was Colty and Vanessa. Well, on the diaries, Colty said that he's divorced from Vanessa, but then my tea was that Colty and Vanessa aren't divorced, despite what he said on the diaries. And then I did a whole long post about it.
Okay, so they're separated because they've definitely been separated for a long time, but they're not divorced.
Yeah.
But they're not divorced because of him.
Yeah, he's refused to sign. Well, I could read my post, but or I could just do it like paraphrase it off the top of my head. But he's refused to sign any paperwork. Like Vanessa had filed some paperwork, but apparently some of her paperwork was incorrect. So then it got thrown out. So she has to refile, but it costs money every time you file. So she hasn't yet refiled. So it's kind of like square one after all this time.
Oh. So she tried to file, it was filed incorrectly, but why won't he file?
Well, if he's not willing to sign and I think he's just one of those dudes. This is like the same way with like Tiffany's guy in South Africa. He didn't sign either, right?
Yeah, he refused to file because since he was in the country where they were married, technically it was his responsibility to file in his jurisdiction. He refused, and
Natalie refused too, remember?
yeah, she did. That doesn't surprise me though, because Natalie
Mhm.
is a scammer. Like she's a scammer. So that doesn't surprise me, but I don't know why Vanessa won't just refile, because why do you want to be linked to this guy? Like how much, you know what? How much does it cost to file for divorce? I'm gonna Google it. Hold on, I'm gonna Google it.
I don't know, but I think the reason Vanessa is kind of fucked over is like his if she's married to him still, his debt is her debt, right?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
yeah.
Oh. Oh, it depends on where you live. Where did where did they get married? Do you know? Was it in Nevada?
It's
Um
about $300 in Nevada.
Yeah, that's what I see. Yeah, it's only $300. She should totally file that because especially if he's accumulating that debt, or since the debt is already accumulated, is it already hers? It might already be hers actually, because it's once you file for divorce, it's from that day forward. So
mhm.
it's yeah, she might be screwed actually.
I think she's screwed on the debt part.
Yeah, so when they file, they're gonna assign half of the debt to her, which is unfair. I mean, maybe she has some debt too, so then she could be, make it even. Hopefully, like maybe she's got 30 grand or a lot of debt too. And like,
I got just 15 grand in my pocket, just sitting there just to wait to pay a deadbeat. So look, that fuck, fuck that noise.
I don't know. I mean, it's weird how these people refuse to file and they try to stay married to people. Like, it's really weird to me because it's like if your relationship is over, you can't hold them hostage.
Well,
Like you can't just like tell someone that they can't move on. Like that's crazy to me.
Well, I think like so I think what happens is everyone sees them on TV and think like, they must be amazing people. But we all have to like stop and remind ourselves that like the reason they're on TV, especially 90 days, they have like great, and again, I'm just speaking in generalities. This isn't toward a specific person, but they all have like crazy character flaws, which are the reason they got cast in the first place.
That's true. In order to be on a reality TV show, you have to stand out and
Mhm.
not in a good way. You
Mhm.
have to be strange, weird, um,
In debt,
yeah,
filed for bankruptcy.
yeah, off-putting, offensive, racist. They're looking for something that's really gonna stand out. And it's not a good thing. So if you get casted and then people are like, oh, I only had one interview and I got casted. And I was like, that's not a brag. That's not a flex. That means that they thought you were weird enough in such a short amount of time that they wanted to go forward. I was like, that's not a brag. I was like,
Yeah, and then the fact that like Colty is in debt. The casting director, when a new series comes around, they're like, "Oh well, we could cast Colt because he'll do whatever the fuck we say because what the fuck else does he have going on?"
well,
But it's
he's been off the show for a long time too. So it's like he wasn't really making show money. So I think because a lot of these people they kind of subsidize their income, right? They have like side jobs and then the show, and then adding it all together they make a decent wage. I don't think Colt was getting that show money because getting a 30, 40, $50,000 check, that can make the difference, for people who don't have a lot of money. But I think that he probably didn't have any savings because the way it sounds, it happened really fast. He went from having a good job to no job to needing a place to stay to owing everybody money really quickly, right? Like, because I've met people before that had a good job for years and years, and then they lost that job, and they were okay for like a couple of years
Mhm.
because they own property, they had money invested, they had places where money was. And I feel like when he lost his job, he didn't have any money put aside for anything, and that's kind of how he ended up here.
Do you mean his OnlyFans didn't set the world on fire?
oh God.
It's it didn't set anything on fire, right? Like, I don't. Again, I'm still confused at why so many women. Because I remember when he was on that tell-all, and Jess was like, he was just sending dick pics to everyone. And I was like, who's requesting that?
Mhm.
Like, who's asking for that? Like, of all the women in the world, I would love to question the ones who were like, send me a dick pic like, why were you even asking? Like, that seems like a punishment. Like, that seems like you did something wrong and then you get that. Like, that doesn't even seem fair.
Yeah,
We've got to ask those women if they went blind.
that.
Or if they have nightmares, like recurring nightmares of opening that
Hmm.
text message. Because again, I think Colt is, I don't know the right word, insufferable. I don't know. Like, I just, when I look at him, it doesn't look, I don't see the appeal that all of these, because he's been on the show with multiple women multiple times, and there's been women, he's been cheating on women. And I'm just like, I'm trying to understand the appeal
Mhm.
of why there's so many women fighting over this guy. Like, every now and then I'll see couples and I'll see two girls fighting over a guy, and I don't know, you can kind of understand the appeal. And then other times you're just like, so are they legally blind? Are they deaf? Are they Helen Keller? Like, why are they fighting over it? Can they see what we see? Like, I have no idea what's going on.
This is a change of topic, but speaking of trying to understand what's going on, should we talk about Big Ed?
Will we ever understand what's going on with Big Ed? I he is such a confusing topic, right? Like, I've never understood it.
Yeah, so did you see his latest tattoos?
Yeah, I saw the
Yeah.
picture of his tattoos. I don't know what they mean, so I'm actually interested in this because you're going to explain to me the significance of the tattoo, because it's a tattoo that is on another person. So I'm really interested in the significance of that.
Okay. Well, yeah, so I don't know if this one how well it's fairly new, but well look, okay, so there's two Big Ed tattoo photos. There's one where he's sitting in like Jelly Roll's bar in Nashville getting a tattoo like on his arm, but he's like shirtless, and people were like, why is he shirtless for an arm tattoo?
Well, yeah, that you don't have to take your shirt off for that. So yeah,
Yeah, looking like
especially when you look
No one
like
needs to
that.
see that.
Especially when you look like that, right? Like, that is not Like you don't just take off your shirt at any given opportunity when you look like that.
Yeah, looking like Buddha or something. But so there's that photo, and then before that photo came out, there was a photo that it was just him in like a hot tub with some people, and there was a chick next to him. But the thing that caught my attention was, and again, I don't want to get too political on the show because it's a comedy podcast. But anyway, he has the same. Hold on. So he has the same. Second, sorry. So he has the same tattoo as like the Secretary of Defense, which is I forget his name now, but he's a
Pete
former Fox, yeah,
Pete Hegseth.
yeah, the former Fox News guy turned the head of like basically all of our military, and then so he has the same tattoo, which is like a cross. But so I know it's like if you just look at the cross, that doesn't necessarily inherently have like there isn't necessarily like a negative connotation with that specific tattoo, but the fact that it's on him on the Pete guy, and he has a bunch of other tattoos that are very offensive, in my opinion. And then he's also kind of like, you know, a questionable guy and allegedly an alcoholic and kind of whatever. So anyway, but I could but I have like some meaning of the actual like tattoo. But again, it doesn't really like. It's not anything bad. Independent, like individually, it's not bad, but in context of that guy, it's bad in my opinion.
I'm looking at this Pete guy's other tattoos, and I don't understand any of them. Most of them are in another language, right?
Yeah, again, I don't know if how much we want to go down that.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, what does the cross one
But I
mean?
could read you what the cross means, but it's not,
Yeah,
again, I'm not saying his cross. I'm not saying Big Ed's cross tattoo independently or individually is like a bad thing. It's more of like in the context of this like nut that's running our military, and he has other like allegedly, like white. I mean, just say super allegedly, but white supremacist tattoos and shit like that next to his cross tattoo and all shit. That in context of
Oh, Jesus.
that's what makes it kind of fucked up. But when also we know Bigot is like a straight like right wing guy. But I could explain to you a little bit what the cross tattoo means, if you'd like.
yeah.
Which one? Because there's two.
Well, on Big Ed, there's just one giant cross with four other crosses over it.
Okay, because there's one on his arm too.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm just talking about the one I circled on my post. But
Okay,
so the
I'm looking at the
tattooing,
post. So
so the tattooing Christian. Okay, I'm just this is off of some article. So, and if it gets boring, let me know. It says tattooing Christian pilgrims to the Holy Land is a pedigree that goes back many centuries. But by the way, if this gets boring, just let me know. Goes back many centuries before the young Edwards the Seventh's own experience with the Jerusalem cross among the most popular designs. As with so many old symbols in many belief systems, there are various ways of reading its meaning. Some say the four smaller crosses represent the four. Sorry. Sorry, I got a text that distracted me. Some say the four smaller crosses represent the four gospels of the New Testament, with the bigger cross, the cross of the crucifixion itself. Or it could instead be described as five crosses, as George V wrote to his mother, which evokes the five wounds of Christ on the cross. Parentheses, the four smaller ones represent two hands and 2 feet, while the bigger one is the spear wound in his side. Other readings make it a symbol of evangelism, representing the spread of the gospel to all four corners of the world. It has similarly been appropriated by different groups through the centuries since its earliest known usage, which was during the Crusades. It became one of the symbols of the Franciscans, a Christian whatever I can't read order that
monastery.
no, order that was founded over a century after the capture of Jerusalem in 1209. And now by the way, if this is like too much, let me know. I'll just end it. But and now has custodianship over holy places in Jerusalem and the Holy Land on behalf of the Catholic Church, making it also a symbol of the city itself. This in turn meant that Christian pilgrims to the Holy Land, from the future king to bishops to more humble pilgrims, have traveled home with this permanent souvenir of the trip on their arm, shorn of the meaning of going on a crusade. In other words, the Jerusalem cross can be read with a militant or non militant meaning. Where Hexeth deviates quite significantly from the pilgrims is the size of the tattoo. It's interesting that it's so large, said Matt Lauder, a senior lecturer in art history and theory and director of the American Studies at the University of Essex, and an expert on the Jerusalem pilgrim tattoos. In Jerusalem, you're looking at a 20-minute job. His, meaning Pete's, is hours and hours and hours of tattooing. This is a statement in itself. Sometimes the more seditious tattoos are sort of hidden away, more plausibly deniable, but this isn't supposed to be hidden. So that's like the rundown on the cross and Pete's tattoo.
Interesting. But Ed has one too, which is even more interesting.
Basically, he's just kissing Pete's ass because he's like a super fan MAGA guy.
Yeah, I don't know if I would ever be that much of a super fan to get a tattoo that someone has just because I'm a fan of theirs. I don't know if I'm like, I also don't have any tattoos. So it would be very strange for me to even get one, but still, I don't love anybody that much, to get a tattoo because they have it.
And then like literally today, like if you look on Big Ed's like Instagram stories, he posted like I didn't watch it with the volume on, but he posted like a video making fun of like Joe Biden. So it's like that's his whole like shtick, is to like which is kind of dumb if you're a public figure and you're trying to get people to buy your cameo and you're posting like, like videos that half the country wouldn't appreciate.
Oh, I see it. I see it. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
So if he was smart, he wouldn't be such a dick.
I feel like I feel like we're going backwards. Like, I feel like people were way more smart about their um internet presence and their stance and their political stances, and I feel like we're backsliding because in the professional world, it isn't smart for you to go and alienate certain people. So, in order for you to be a public figure, it wouldn't be intelligent, for an artist or an actor or a singer or whatever you are, public figure, to go and say, "Oh, I only support this," and then you're alienating anyone that doesn't support that. Like, that's stupid. Like, why are we even doing that? Like, if you want to be famous, if you want to be a public figure and make your money as a public figure, you can't go and alienate like 30% of the world, like, because those 30% people have money too, like you can't just go and alienating people.
Even Jasmine's smart enough not to do that.
Well, yeah, we know that Jasmine has some weird belief structures as well, but yeah, she knows that her OnlyFans is available for everyone, so she's not going to piss off anybody who's willing to pay for her OnlyFans. She is not alienating. If you want it, it's there for you to buy. Like, she is not trying to piss nobody off.
Red or blue, you could see the pink. It's all good for her. You know what I mean?
All the money is green to her. Like, she doesn't care.
I was about to say, all she sees is green.
That's all she sees. And if you want to see it too for a price, you are allowed. You are allowed. You can see it all in its glory.
True, yeah. And then I didn't save the videos, but I guess it expired on his stories. But he had posted videos of him like I forget the name of that main street in Nashville where all the bars are with the live music. But I think he was on that street with all the famous street with all the bars. And then there's tons of people like stopping him on the street, like taking photos with him, and he proudly posted that on his stories, of course.
Oh,
but it expired though, so it's not on there anymore.
Is it Broadway?
I think it's Broadway, but it goes in. Yeah. It's a square, so it's like First Street and then Broadway. It goes in like a square. I used to go to Nashville a lot, and
it's the street where the football stadium's on too.
Yeah. Yes, I think it's either First Street. I want to say I called it First Street. But Broadway it basically goes in a square. It turns into Broadway eventually, in First Street, and I think it turns into Woodlawn. Just depends on what part of it you're on. But yeah, so Ed's hanging out in Nashville a lot. I wonder what the deal is with that.
Well, I didn't look it up, but is Nashville, like, how far is that to Arkansas?
Good question. Let's find out. Nashville to
I can get it. Don't worry about it.
Bentonville. All right, we're looking at an 8-hour drive, or a 1 hour and 25-minute flight.
Still, it's pretty far in terms of driving, at least, that it's not something that he could just go hop in the car and be there in like an hour or so.
No, 554 miles.
Yeah, so that's a good question. I'm not sure why he I'm wondering if he's friends with like Jelly Roll, and Jelly Roll is like coming to my bar and do like a public appearance.
Well, they both look like jelly rolls, so you know.
Wait, I heard that Jelly Roll lost a whole bunch of weight.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I heard that
I didn't know who he was
he is
until
now
you.
a low fat eclair is what we have to call him now, because he's definitely not as big as he used to be.
Cinnamon stick.
Was that thanks to Ozempic as well?
Huh?
Was that thanks to Ozempic as well?
Oh, I don't know. I heard that he had a gastric bypass, like a gastric surgery.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I think for people that are like 400 or 500 or 600 pounds, Ozempic is not as effective. Ozempic usually helps people that are like 200 or 300 pounds overweight. So like, I think for him, I think he said he was 550 something pounds. I don't know how effective Ozempic is for people that size. So they usually do a gastric bypass, and then you can do Ozempic when you get down lower.
Oh, gotcha.
What was I gonna say? Oh, did you see this? Is just like a 5-second thing, but like, did you see the ad? It was just a meme that a video I posted where I was like big Ed at the Met Gala. You see like
Yeah,
you see like
that was
scurrying across the carpet.
That was hilarious because I was so watching all of the Met Gala arrivals. So when you posted that, it fit in with my timeline perfectly, because that's literally what I was looking at. Like the Met Gala arrivals of the outfits and the ridiculous clothing that people were wearing. So when you posted it, I was like, this is so accurate and hilarious. I don't even know what to do.
Did you see? Yeah, sorry to like crowbar this in. Did you see the Shaboozy article?
I did see the Shaboozy article.
It's apparently Shaboozy. I mean,
I did too.
I like Shaboozy's music, but I'm not really. I wasn't like an expert on his physical stature, but apparently he has like a, a butt or something.
Well, they said that he had a Shabooty, is what they were saying, and they were like, "Oh, he has a big butt," and then everyone on the internet's now accusing him of having a BBL, which I think is completely false. I highly doubt that that man has a BBL, but the outfit that he wore, it definitely didn't. I mean, I don't want to say it didn't highlight a good. Maybe he wanted it to, but it did make it look like his butt was as unproportioned for his body. Like it did make it look that way for a woman. That's their goal. I don't know if men have the same goal when they're putting on a outfit. Like I don't think men are like, "Ooh, this should make my butt look big," per se. But the outfit that he wore, it did make it look like he had a Shabooty.
Yeah, so there's several people on like Twitter that were like live tweeting or something the Met Gala or whatever. And yeah, more than one person, I forget, but more than one person was like, "Oh my gosh, Shaboozy, yeah, he got that Shabooty." So
Yeah, your Google alerts were probably going off that
yeah,
day.
and that was in one article, and then that's how it like,
Yeah, I was like, your Google alerts were probably going off, and you probably were like, "What happened? Why are my
What?
Google alerts?"
What?
why is my name synonymous with a large man ass?
Well, that's something that you didn't anticipate when you picked your name. You didn't anticipate that you were gonna be known as a BBL.
We don't really pick our nickname, childhood nicknames, but yeah.
Oh, it's a childhood nickname. Oh, interesting. We're gonna have to get into one day, the origins of everyone's nicknames and stuff. We'll have to get into that one day.
True. Yeah, it's not that exciting.
Mine's G Unit.
Wait, it's what?
G Unit.
G Unit, like the
Yeah.
50 Cent
Yeah.
group?
Yeah.
Oh, so were you a G Unit fan?
I was. I wore some of their clothing to the
Wait, so you
back
had
in the day.
G Unit clothing?
Yeah.
Like the jackets and the shirts and the hats?
Yeah.
This is interesting, Gina. This is fun because I didn't know this about you. Just to be clear, I also had a G Unit shirt, and oh my God, it's gonna take me too long to go through the garage, but I can find pictures. I had a G Unit shirt that I used to rock quite a bit when I was younger, so don't feel bad, Gina. I did it too, and I also had
I'm not feeling bad. It's my nickname, so
I had the hat, the shirt, and I think I had a jacket, if I'm not mistaken. Also, off topic, I also had. Do you remember Rough Riders?
Yeah.
Yes.
I had that stuff too. Like stop, drop, set it down,
Drop.
open up, shot. Yeah, I
Yes.
was obsessed with the Rough Riders too.
I had like a FUBU sweatshirt.
Oh,
Oh,
we
I
all
had
had
FUBU
that.
too.
We all had that. Like, come on now. I don't know anybody that didn't have a FUBU sweatshirt. Oh, and I also had a Kuji sweater. You had a Kuji sweater too, right?
I know of them, but I didn't have them.
I had one. Yeah, I had all the in clothing. And for people who don't know, Biggie Smalls, he talked about the Kuji sweater in his song. Don't quote me which song. It's leaving.
I'm well aware. I just don't remember which song.
Yeah, I don't remember, but yeah, he
I
talked about
had
it.
I had the FUBU. It looked like a baseball jersey dress. I had one of those. I actually had a few of those.
Oh, okay. I had the whole FUBU wardrobe. Like I had everything. Like so yeah. This is weird because I don't think about you know how clothing lines they come back? None of the clothing lines from my youth are really coming back. Like Rough Riders,
No.
Fuji.
Well, I guess Sean John's not coming back anytime soon.
No, no,
No.
no way. No. It's funny because some people get to relive their childhood because their favorite clothing, right? Like people who wore Ed Hardy. I used to wear Ed Hardy back in the day. Now it's back. You can wear it again.
It's
Like
back. It's
it's
on
back.
back on Fashion Nova.
Well,
My
it's funny.
friend's kid had an Ed Hardy hat. I'm like, what but not Ed Hardy. It was Von Dutch. Von Dutch is on.
Oh yeah, you remember the Von Dutch and the Christian Artiture. Yeah, we're going back
Yeah.
far, guys.
hmm Well, that was a nice little like side street for last.
Flashback Fridays.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that was a good flashback Friday. Yeah, because it brought back so many memories.
speaking of Big Ed, still like, did you see the Reddit thing where they were confused where he was with that chick, and they said that's his latest victim slash girlfriend, and then I kind of set the record straight and said no, that's a publicist with like Warner Brothers, TLC. Um, so yeah, did you see my post?
Yeah, so
Yes.
the girl in the hot tub. Yeah, so apparently you said that she works for
Not
TLC.
the girl in the hot tub. There's another post like I did 3 Big Ed posts this week.
Oh, you normally do not give him that much attention. Oh, I see it. I see it. I see it. I see it. So yeah, you're right. I saw the 2 posts and I assumed that's all he got this week. Damn, he's like living on the top of the charts right now because you never give him that much attention.
Well,
Well,
I will say like there's I mean we if we have like anyway yeah like there's other customers that if they don't like a post I make they slide in my DMs and complain. At least Big Ed he doesn't like bitch about my posts.
So do you think that he sees your posts or do you do
I
you think
think on Twitter I think he blocked me, but not on Instagram.
wait, Big Ed blocked you on Twitter?
Yeah, but I feel like I mentioned that before.
Also, can we talk about a major news outlet that blocked you on Twitter recently?
We could talk about it, but that's one of those things though. You know, like on Twitter, it's like I don't know how recent it actually happened. You know, it's like when somebody will block you, but you don't realize it for like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, that happens to me every now and then. I'll find out like a page will pop up on my timeline and I'll click on it or I'll try to like a post and it's like, you can't like this, they blocked you. And I'm like, what? Why? But you're right, you don't know how recent it was because you don't get a notification. But now with Elon's Twitter, you can still look at their page because back in the day when it was, I think what's his name, Jack Dorsey's Twitter, when someone blocked you, you couldn't see anything. Like you couldn't see how many followers they had, who they followed, what their post was. It was like they were gone. But like now, you can still see, and they'll still show up on your timeline, which is very confusing because normally when you block each other, they disappear from your universe. So like now, people who have you blocked and people you have blocked still end up on your timeline, which is really confusing.
yeah, it's very stupid. So, anyway, yeah, Time Magazine blocked me, but then I said, I guess that just makes me timeless. Oh,
Timeless. I think what's really interesting that a major news outlet, like Time Magazine, like you said, is a timeless news outlet that's been around for longer than we've been alive. they saw you as a threat in some way. Like, we don't know if this happened yesterday or like 3, 5, 6 years ago. We don't know. But at some point, they saw you as a threat to their major organization. And that's pretty cool, right? Like, it's pretty cool to think that a major news outlet, a major news organization is bothered by something that you said. That's
Like,
pretty.
yeah, like I don't know if this has, I'm not saying this has anything to do with that, but do you recall back in the day before you could like buy verification on Twitter? So like back in the day, this was like during Trump's first administration, so around that time. But if you were verified on, but it was before you could buy verification on Twitter. But if you had the blue check mark back then, when it was more like, revered, the way the like reply section on a lot of posts worked was if you were verified, your replies would show up first
Oh,
versus
yeah. So
verified people.
Instagram just basically copied that because
Yeah.
that's how it was. Yeah. So if you're verified on Instagram, your comment shows up first. And yeah, Twitter did it the same way. So non-verified people were all the way at the bottom of the thousands of comments.
Yeah, so like back in the day, at some point, I actually, so I was like verified before you could buy verification. I still like managed to get verification, and then during that time, whether it was like the president or whoever, like if I replied quick enough, my reply was literally like the first reply you saw under like main accounts. So I know, I don't know, I'm not saying that's the reason time blocked me, but that's how there's a period of time where like I had tweets getting like like over thousands of likes and stuff just by being like the first reply because I was like verified. So I know that's how I was getting in a lot of people's faces back in the day.
Well, you made your mark on Twitter because I knew who you were on Twitter before you knew who I was.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you've been pretty big on Twitter for a long time.
Yeah, even before like 90 Day.
Yeah, because I knew who you were before you knew who I was from
Mhm.
Twitter. So like you definitely made your mark. So that's what I'm saying. Like you did something that pissed off an entire news organization, and we just don't know when. But it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter when. We just know that you irritated an entire organization, and that's how you know that you're doing something right. Like irritating a cast member or a hater here and there is one thing, but an entire organization, it just shows that you are doing something right.
Yeah, and later in the show we'll get into the latest cast member I irritated.
Yeah, this kind of will be like a little segment that we do where we'll
Am
find a
I the
cool.
a-hole?
Oh wait, is that what we called it? Yeah, we did have the "Am I the A hole" segment.
I think you wanted to go down that path the one recently or like a month ago, but
Yeah,
I shut it down because I was like I didn't want to put in that specific instance. I didn't want to put fuel to the fire.
yeah, but it's still fun. It's still fun because I told you they do. It was like a little thing on the radio where people would call in,
Mhm.
and we didn't call it "Am I the A-hole?" This was like a family show, but like I don't remember what we called it. It might have been called "Was I Wrong?" Maybe I don't remember what we called it. Where people would call in and they would tell us something they did and it pissed
I
someone
think you
off.
said, am I rude or something like
Am I
that.
rude? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think is what we call it. And they would call in and they would say what they did that pissed off someone and someone was mad at them. And then we would let the other people call in and vote if they were rude or not or
Mhm.
whatever. So yeah, I mean, we should
Like,
we should do it.
I feel you. No, I feel like the reason I'm not that interested in that bid is because I'll just be, I would rather just like come out and say, yeah, I was an asshole, but at least I'm giving you entertainment.
Well, in some of the instances though, I don't feel like you were being an a-hole. Some of
Yeah,
the instances people were just being like sensitive little B words.
true. Yeah, and there's a fresh example we'll get into.
Yeah. That's so. Yeah, when we talk about that later, that's what we'll discuss because you're not always in the wrong, and I think that's what would make the segment fun because sometimes you're just reporting news and people just don't like that the news is about them.
Yeah,
You know, and
well, let's finish the Big Ed thing, and then we could actually get into the other this thing too.
oh yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
The only other, I mean, but it still kind of all meshes together because the only other thing I was gonna say with the posts with the Reddit confused the chick as a new girlfriend, but I called it out and said no, that's just the publicist. And then I guess the only other point I want to make was back in the day when I was kind of starting out my 90 Day Fiance, you know, influencer grind. Like I had followed that publicist And then we've all talked about this topic several millions of times on the podcast, but like she had like soft blocked me, which is like not a hard block, but a soft block. So you know what that is, right?
Yes, we've discussed it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's when they kind of like force you to unfollow them.
Yes, but don't block. Yeah. So that's interesting. So it's the same chick.
Yeah, it's the same chick that soft blocked me back in the day.
I wonder if she remembers you.
I don't know, but I don't know what her deal was back in the day, but
Oh, so wait, did y'all like have any interaction, or it was just one of those random out of nowhere blocks or
no,
soft blocks?
yeah, no, it was like we never had any interactions. I think it's just like, I think like back then was when I was kind of starting out. I think it was more of like when you get like quote unquote like big timed, where it's like I feel like I was getting big timed by her. Like I wasn't like good, I wasn't like big enough of an influencer for her.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so it wasn't like an interaction that resulted in a soft block. It was just like limited interaction where they like were big timing me, I think.
Interesting.
But anyway,
Interesting.
but okay, now that's that topic. Now, do you want me to like jump ahead to the recent thing that happened tonight where the quote like it was I an ass or not type of segment?
I mean, yeah, I feel like I love these. I love these. I know you don't, but like I love these segments. And this is another prime example of a situation happening and people seeing it. Two different situations occur. Like one person might think that you're being an a-hole, and then other people from the outside might not see it that way. So I feel like that's the perfect way to get a good opinion of what happened.
No, this was in reference to the like more recent. I think it was either the post I did today about like the throuple, and I basically called them. I just felt like the storyline is like super fake.
Oh, it is. It is.
Oh yeah.
It's lazy fake. Like I don't even know another way to describe it. It's like lazy fake. Like
Mhm.
they are this not even trying. Like I've already publicly asked the casting director who cast them to quit their job because I
Mhm.
just feel like they're just horrible at everything.
Oh, and this segment should be good because I just had like what's it called when you do something to make yourself feel powerful? Like what's another way to say that? Like
Um ego
no, like it's a power something, like a
power trip.
power trip.
Yeah.
Yeah, power trip.
Yeah, yeah. This segment should be good because as a power trip, there was a creepy quote unquote there's a creepy Zoom user with the username Zoom user, and I kicked him out
Wait, just now?
for shits and giggles, so I could feel, because I don't know who it was. So anyway,
Oh, so you kind of soft blocked them.
yeah, I soft blocked him because it was a juicy segment, and so I don't want you to leech our juicy segment with an anonymity.
Well, that's all they do. They come in here and they take your tea and then they repost your tea. That's all they do. It's like a vicious cycle.
Yeah. So okay, now okay, so should I read the post first and then read the DMs or what? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, we got to know what got the person in your DMs to start with. So yeah, we
Ye-
got to start with the post, like cause and effect. We have to know what the cause was and then why they're mad.
Yeah. So okay, so this was about the throuple, the post I did today. Let me pull it up real quick. So this was a Matt Anami, and I called her Anami. Um, anyway, look it up on my Instagram, but there was an exchange that Matt had with a fan where the fan says, um, the woman is a 37-year-old stripper from a city where 1,700 murders a year happens, aka Tijuana. She will do whatever to get out of the situation for her daughter. And then Matt responds to that fan and says, you see the big picture. Thanks for sharing. And then I kind of reposted it. And then my little heading says, yes, she'll even act like she's in a throuple for television. And then my caption went on to say, yes, indeed, the big picture here is the thruple's faker than a $3 bill, which is 54 pesos. And then I pasted in the definition, even though everyone knows it, I pasted in the definition of $3 bill. I said which is the phrase faker than a $3 bill is a humorous idiom used to describe something or someone as obviously fake or phony. Since there's no such thing as a $3 bill in the United States currency, anything compared to it is being labeled as clearly inauthentic or fraudulent. So that was the post that happened. And then Matt like hopped in my DMs before the podcast started, um, which is the thruple guy. So now, do you want me to read you our DMs?
Yeah, so he's mad.
Yes, go on.
Matt
Well,
off
but
based on that
wait,
post.
what you posted, this wasn't from your post. This was comments from their own post, though, right?
Yeah, reposted
Yeah.
their
So,
comments, and then but then I just basically said, uh, I basically said like she'll do anything for to. I was just kind of saying like, well, basically I said yeah, like she'll even act like she's in a throuple for television, and then I said yeah, it's the throuples is faker than
well,
$3.
yeah. Isn't that the Future song? She'll do anything for clout. That's literally the song. Like she'll do anything for clout, like anything.
Yeah, so I don't think my post was. I was just like not a fan of the fake storyline. It wasn't meant to be an attack on Matt personally.
Well, I didn't see you mention him once, so I'm curious to know why he was in your DMs.
Yeah, so
Mm,
then okay, so he was in my DMs, but hold on, let me just check my latest DMs, see who messaged me. Okay, all right, so yeah, now I could read you our exchange. So this is the exchange we had where Matt hopped in my DMs, and just like a what's it called? A disclaimer to any cast member, like unless you're a hot chick, I have a very short fuse when you hop in my DMs to complain about my post. Anyway, so are you ready for me to
he
read?
has standards, people, standards.
Okay, ready?
Well, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, don't interrupt until I finish reading because then it may get cut off on Zoom. But okay, I'll read what he said, then we could discuss, and then I'll read what I said, and then we could discuss and back and forth. Okay, so first he says two messages. He says, "Why call us?" Let me just. Okay, he says, "Why call us fake? Because I know you see, his grammar's all fucked up. Anyway, he says, why call us fake? Because I know anyone would do anything to get her daughter out of Mexico. Oh, Annie. Annie's a name. I thought he meant Annie, like anyone. So let me read that again. The fucking Annie Hanny name threw me off. It says, why call us fake? Because I know Annie, aka Hanny, would do anything to get her daughter out of Mexico. Isn't that the case for every parent stuck somewhere? So that's what he said. Now, do you want me to tell you my reply?
Yeah.
I said,
Yep.
I don't buy the thruple storyline. I said, hold on. I said, I don't buy the thruple storyline beyond anything more than a TV storyline. My instinct is usually, my instincts, my instinct is usually right. At the end of the season, I'd love to revisit this and see if I'm right or wrong. And then he says, so you don't know, but you say backhanded compliments. And then I said, I know I'm right. And then he said, I hope you got the likes you wanted. And then I said, it's not about backhanded or not. It's about accuracy. If I'm wrong at the end of the season, I'll happily give y'all your flowers. And then he says, I don't need your approval. Thanks. And I said, then don't complain about my disapproval of the storyline.
See, I don't think that you were wrong in this instance.
Mhm.
I think that he was in your DMs crying like a little B word,
Mhm.
and you responded. Like, I don't know. I don't see how you were an a-hole for reposting pictures of comments that he got on his own post.
Mhm.
Like, he was triggered because at the end of the day, we know how this storyline is going to end. They're not going to end up together. At the end of the day, you know that, we all know that, and you called it out, and he's mad. And it's like, why you mad at me? You should have did a better storyline. You know, like you should have did better of what you did. Like, don't get mad at me because your performance sucks. You know?
But he
Exactly.
likely also knows that you're going to talk about it, and here we are talking about it.
Yeah, and like, and again, I'm shitting on the storyline. Like, I didn't make a post and say Matt is a lame ass big piece of shit. Or, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't really even about him. It was just like, my more issue was just the thruple part of the storyline. It's not really about him.
He wasn't even mentioned in the post. Like, I mean, he's a part of the throuple, so I guess he was, but like, this wasn't about him. It was basically saying that Ani is doing whatever she needs to do, you know, to get out of Tijuana. Tijuana's not like a super fun place to live, okay? Like, it's not somewhere that you want to raise your kids in. So yeah, it wasn't even about him. He's just mad because we can see through it. And the crazy thing about their storyline is everybody could see through it within like the first 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why everyone is so irritated, because they were the selling point for this season. You know how every company has a flagship, like they have a flagship store, they have a flagship location. They were the flagship for this season, and we were like, okay, so it was the Titanic because it sank right away. Like we were like, what a waste of time. You got us hooked thinking that we were getting something good, and at the end, it was the Titanic.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's just bitter because no one gives a fuck about his storyline or his season. And yeah, you're right. The publicists used the throuple like selling point to kind of sell it to news outlets when they write articles about this season. To first thing they should mention is the exciting throuple, and then it ended up being like the worst big piece of horse shit. And the fact that I couldn't bite my tongue any longer, he got all butthurt in the DMs.
Well, it ain't you. It ain't just you. Everybody is over it. Like everybody has been very vocal of how disappointed that throuple storyline is. And it's 50% their fault for just being liars, but it's also 50% their production's fault too for trying to push that off as like a good storyline. So there's accountability on everybody in that, because it's not his fault. Matt doesn't look like a person who can do basic math. So I don't think that he was the one to just, come up with a good storyline. It doesn't look, he struggles to talk half the time. So it's not his fault that he didn't come with a good storyline. That's why they hire set writers and producers. They should have came up with a better storyline.
Yeah, and Sherry from Canada, she says in the chat, when these people sign up for the show, they know that fans are either going to love them or cheer for them, or we will hate them and call them out. If they get butthurt, then that's their fault.
Yeah, this is very accurate. It's like, and for the people who are like, oh, I didn't know it was going to be this way. And I was like, well, why would you sign up for a TV show that you never saw? Because I
Mhm.
used to hear people say, like, I didn't watch it. If I would have watched it, I would have never done this. And I was like, what kind of idiot signs up? That's like you going to like a theme park, or I don't know, going to like a rock climbing place. Well, it doesn't matter what you're doing, but you're doing it sight unseen, right? Like you don't know what you're in line for. You don't know what you're about to do. No one does that. Like you got to do your own research. Like don't sign up for something and then do it and then be like, oh, I don't like this. You should have researched it. It's your responsibility to do your own research. Like in the 90-day franchise, it is so like it's a
Mhm.
cult.
Predictable.
Well, it's also a cult too, because it's like you're like Shabooty said, you're either gonna be loved or dragged. Okay, like there's no in between. There's no middle ground. Either people are gonna talk about you and say nice things, or people are gonna say the worst possible thing in the world about you. There's no in between. So like if you didn't do your research and you put yourself in that predicament, it's kind of on you, because Google is free. You could have Googled the show, you could have streamed the show, you could have looked around Reddit, but you didn't. So now you got to suffer.
Yeah, and then
Okay, but George,
the the like fans, when it's like the customers' first season, the fans can kind of sense if they're kind of an unknown that are dying to be like they're kind of like fame whores and they're dying for the fame and they're desperate, and the fans can kind of sense that too, and then that makes them even less likable.
Yeah, that's true. There are those people who act like Sarper and Shekinah, like they think they're already famous.
Mhm.
And and I think Jabri and Miona started it, and then the thruple is like, I think Jabri and Miona walked so the
Mhm.
thruple could run. I think that's basically, and
Yeah,
so Sarper and Shekinah could run.
except the throuple is like stumbling, but yes.
Well, yeah, they're running, but they're in high heels, so they're falling over, and they can't keep their balance. They're not doing a good job. But they started that fake influencer, we're famous thing, and then Sarper and kind of could do it, and the fans don't want it,
Mhm.
right? Like the fans don't, and it's like I really don't understand why the producers don't want the fan base to be happy, because without the fan base, you don't have a franchise. So it's like, why do you keep insisting on doing what we've asked you to stop doing? Like we
George,
asked
I
you.
remember you being so excited about this season on your podcast. And then I said, it's going to be a dumpster fire because it's basically I Love a Mama's Boy and Seeking Sister Wives in the same show.
Well, I like both of those shows though. Like I like both of those shows,
So,
but
Mhm.
it came short. It came up short, and I'm this is probably one of the most disappointing seasons in a while. and I watch all the spinoffs, all the little shows. This was probably the most disappointing one overall in a
Mhm.
while.
I agree. It's like it's like when we think back at not even like that long ago, whether it was like Lauren's season or the season with like Amanda the Widow and like other ones, like those at least had some interesting people, and I had good memories of those seasons.
Yeah, I mean, they're not gonna get it right every time, but at least we can go back and think of seasons where there was something that stood out. Like this season, it's a struggle for me to find anything that stood out as entertaining. It's like literally a struggle. Like when this 2 years from now, when we're talking about this season, it's gonna be really hard for us to even remember who was on because there's nothing that sticks out, nothing that stays. No classic 90 day. Remember we did that 90-day Hall of Fame segment where we were adding scenes and people and items into the 90 Day Fiance Legend Hall of Fame. Nothing from this season is going to actually land in that museum because we won't remember anything because it was literally a boring waste of time.
Yeah, this season would be good for like a time capsule that we like forget where we forgot where we buried it.
Yeah, we could bury it and then they accidentally build the building over it and then no one looks for it. Exactly. Exactly.
Preferably they build like a landfill on top of it.
Yeah, and then accidentally put concrete.
Yeah.
So nobody can even
It'll
think.
And light it on
be
fire.
right it'll be right at home, buried under a landfill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that was that topic.
Well, it's funny that the cast members like to go into your DMs to complain all the time. It's really interesting to me because they could easily just keep scrolling, but they feel like they have to tell you how disgusted they are in your opinions, and I think that that's really funny because it's like people could just keep scrolling. Like you don't have to voice your negative opinion on someone because somebody said to me they were like, I can't believe you posted that on your Instagram. Why did you do that? And I was like, because it's my Instagram, because it's mine, just like you can post anything that you want on yours. Like, so when people come at you and they're like, why are you posting? It's like, because it belongs to him and he can post whatever the hell he wants, and you being on the show makes you public domain so he can post. You like, I don't understand what people think they're going to get out of you.
Yeah.
You're
And
not I'm gonna remove the post. You're not a negotiate with terrorists type of guy,
no,
So it's like,
yeah, I'm a I'll block cast members because I don't give a fuck. I don't put your
right. It's like they're like, what do they think they're gonna get you to do? Take it down because you're not. Like that's not gonna happen. So what exactly do you think you're gonna get out of it by complaining?
Yeah. So that was the Matt the Thruple topic, which I brought it to y'all sooner than I was planning on the show because I felt like it was a hot topic.
Well, it was. Anytime there's somebody in your
Yes.
DMs, remember when Renee was in your DMs? That's a hot topic. We have to get into that.
You know, it's funny, like some lady DM me tonight. Let me see if I can find it. They said, they just messaged me tonight about this, even though it's like an old show. They said, laugh out loud. I just listened to the podcast about fake mahogany. And then they were wondering, like, how am I able to chat with y'all when you do your podcast? I have stuff I want to ask or contribute about Jasmine.
Oh Lord.
They just
Wait, so they were just listening to the fake mahogany episode, so they're like behind.
yeah.
Wait, DM, send me that username because I feel like somebody messaged me and said something similar to
Mhm.
that. So I'm
Oh,
curious if it's the same person.
Okay, it's like a Lisa, but I'll send it to you.
Yep, that's the person. Yep, it was like with a 6 in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so weird. Yeah, they sent me that recently. Yeah, that's so crazy.
And
Interesting.
then I told him join our Patreon, so you got the live link, honey.
Well, yeah, if you want to contribute, join our Patreon and you're a part of the discussion and we will read your comments out. Yeah, that's so interesting though, because yeah, I heard you say, and I was like, somebody said something similar to me. So yeah, that person was DMing me too. So how interesting. I love that she was on the fake mahogany episode. I had so much fun because that was the one time that I was able to prove you wrong about something. And that is like literally an impossible fucking thing to do. So that was so fun. Like I'm never gonna be able to do that again. Because
Like,
I was
was
like,
not to change the subject, but was that the same week as like the Jasmine pregnancy emergency week?
yeah, there is like 5 episodes, like five lives, like back to back. Basically, it was like the Jasmine pregnancy. It was you getting shifted by a catfish. It was like over and
That
over again.
that was like a really, yeah, you're right. That was a very active
That was
month.
a banner week.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
a
I think you
crazy.
lost your voice too, or something like that, or like you're dead tired after like come Sunday. You're like, I'm good. We're cutting this one
Yeah,
short, or we're not
we
doing that.
there was a week where I think we did 4 podcasts in one week
Yeah,
because
that
things
was
were,
that week.
yeah, it was so crazy. We literally did a Sunday, a Monday, an emergency Wednesday, and a Friday.
Friday. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a crazy week. So that was, but again, I love that she brought that up because that was my favorite show because I was actually able to prove Shabooty wrong on something.
Like that. Yeah, that was me being a good team sport and taking one for the team.
Yeah, and still to this day, I still love hearing the audio from that catfish page. It's just it's music to my ears. But she's like, Shabooty, Shabooty. It's music to my ears. Such a classic episode. If we ever do like a 90 Day Fiance Fridays Hall of Fame, that audio is going in the freaking
Yeah,
Hall of Fame.
Like
It's
that's
big.
definitely
like,
the vault.
let's think like off the top of our heads, like the top 5 episodes. Like so, Lauren episode, the initial Lauren episode is like probably number one. The Mahogany
Yes.
episode is probably like top 2 or 3.
Yeah. Okay. So the Lauren is
Yeah.
still number one, definitely. The
Mm-hmm.
Mahogany one is definitely in the top 5. The Jasmine emergency one is definitely in there because that was a fun gloating episode. We got to gloat for an hour.
Yeah, that was the. Well, so now I'm trying to remember though. So I know we did the Jasmine had her baby emergency podcast, but then when Jasmine is pregnant emergency, that was an emergency podcast as well.
That was an emergency podcast.
Yeah.
Say one. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're right, but the higher ranking one is the she's pregnant.
Yeah, because that was more of our gloating show because there were so many people who
But
went
wait,
out
hold
of.
on. But wait, the gloating show. Wait, well, the gloating. I'm trying to. Oh wait, I'm trying to remember how this all went down because I know because there was the initial show where we spilled the tea. Then there was the show after she did the video admitting she's pregnant. Then there was a show that she had the baby. So which one is the highlight? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think it
The
was the
one where she had
one.
the videos saying she's pregnant.
Yeah, where she released the video that she was pregnant because we had a lot of people that went out of their way, like post videos that were just saying that the information that we said that she was pregnant was just false.
Mm-hmm.
So when she went and it was funny because she did the little Kermit, the little frog video or alligator video or whatever it was, where she was like, I'm not pregnant, blah, blah, blah. And then when she actually announced it in the video that she was pregnant, that was when we went live and we were like, hey, so all of those people who went completely out of their way to say that we were delirious, delusional liars, we were posting fake news, I just want to go and show you Exhibit A, Jasmine's pregnant ass belly, because y'all went out of your way to say that we were making up. And I was like, also, who makes up a pregnancy? Because at the end of the pregnancy, there's a baby. So like, you can't make it up. So I think that one was my favorite because it was more like, hey, I know y'all are listening to this because all you do is listen to our podcast and steal our information. So I just want to make sure you know y'all are losers, right? Like y'all are losers because here you are back listening to the podcast, getting your tea from us after you called us liars.
Yeah, I think definitely that day where she posted the video in the white, admitting she's pregnant, and then we did that emergency podcast and we were gloating. That was definitely like top 3.
It was fun because I really hated that people were naysaying and trying to say that we make shit up. Because I was like, name one instance where we ever reported anything that was false. You can't. So this isn't gonna be the first because we're never gonna do that. So I was like, this was perfect for me because I was like, all of those people who said that we made it up, explain Exhibit A, her big ass pregnant belly. Explain that to me because I y'all said it wasn't there. So what do you mean?
True, and then
It was back in February
no,
when she posted that, and then that's when you guys did that emergency one.
Oh, it was in February.
Yeah, in that white dress because I had to go on her Instagram to see when she posted that.
Oh, look at you. You're not blocked by Jasmine. Look at you.
No, not yet.
She got to me in Djibouti. She has us blocked, even though we live rent free in her head. Though we might
No,
be blocked, but she has a burner account where she's looking.
I'm embarrassed that I'm drawing a blank, but remind me on the like when we did the Knives Out episode, like what I'm trying to remember what was the impetus for the Knives Out episode.
Oh,
Well, it was in the chat. Let me see who wrote it.
the Knives Out.
Izzy wrote it. So Izzy, remind us what I forgot. What did we talk about on the Knives Out episode?
I remember the name very vividly,
remember
but
the name.
Yeah.
Remember the like the I did a custom like cover art for it. Shit. But I'm trying to remember like what made
yeah, you did because I think we did a collaboration post on the Knives Out one.
hmm
So yeah, what was that about? We were obviously fighting with somebody.
Oh, I remember now. Izzy just reminded me. Okay, so that was that Sunday.
Oh, right.
Let me say it. That was the one where we discovered and Nico was like OF, and then hell went broke loose, and then I guess that Friday was like the fuck you and Nico Knives Out episode.
Oh, I remember. Yes, because she was threatening you, and that was the I don't negotiate with terrorists episode.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
that's top five.
I remember that now. That was because we were talking about it, and I guess that episode was really interesting because on the episode, I started telling you parts of the story that you didn't know. Because I
Yeah.
guess she messaged me at like 4 a.m, and then she started messaging me again at 10, and you didn't know about the 10 one where she was like, because I asked her to stop messaging me about it, and I was like, message Shabooty and y'all have a conversation, and she wrote me back, and she was like, he blocked me and left me on red, and I started telling the story live, and you hadn't heard it yet, so it was even more hilarious because you were hearing it for the first time, so we got like your actual live reaction as well. So yeah, that was a good episode.
Yeah, I swear, man. Like I feel like I don't know how that was about. Like how long ago was that episode approximately? Like I mean, like
I
how?
feel like that was in January, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I feel like it was after the New Year. It might have been New Year's Day,
No,
actually.
I feel like it was after.
No, it was after because I was back from Europe by that time too, and I was still in Europe in January,
And
like at the beginning of January.
hold on, I'm gonna see if I can see how far back it was, because I'm
I
curious.
remember it being right around New Year's, but you're right, Gina.
No.
You were out of town around then, so it had to have been when you were back in town.
Hold on, I'm trying to find.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that was February 1st.
Oh
Told you.
yeah, I was a whole month off. February 1st.
Mm.
Okay.
So the point I was gonna make that was like, I swear it seems like ever since like February 1st to now, there's been like so many dumb like arguments and fires that have like that have been going on. You know what I mean? Like left and right, some drama and shit.
Yeah, there's been a lot of craziness this year. And I think it had to do with like last year, the podcast, it kind of the stock went really up really fast. And it started like people started listening and it got bigger and the traction, if everything got out of control. And I feel like now, because like for instance, when we broke that Aniko story, she said that all hell broke loose. She was like, her phone was blowing up, her parents were calling, her aunts were calling, her cousins were calling. Like, I didn't know that we had that type of pull. Like, you would have thought that TMZ reported it the way she was talking to me. She was like, it's all hell broke loose. You would have thought that TMZ reported it like live. That's how crazy. And I think that's when things started going crazy because then we didn't realize the pull that the show has. So when we do break news, people want to come for us and start shit and get
I
mad.
mean, yeah, there's stuff that we haven't like, and there's a lot of shit we haven't even talked about. But like, one that I can mention is like, I know Angela was freaked out like a month ago, and like, anyway. But this is like, yeah, you guys don't know how many people like how many cast members like freak out at us like behind the scenes and shit.
Yeah, it's interesting. They like to freak out on you
Yeah, no,
more.
but you know what frustrates me is like there'll be instances where I'll break a story, it gets viral, it's going crazy, and then they come after me, but then there's like all those like accounts. A lot of them are like Facebook accounts or blog, they also have blogs. They basically steal my tea, post it on their blog and on Facebook, and basically like reap the benefits of that. But then the cast members come for my neck, but then the people that steal my content, they just they reap all the like benefits of that.
Yeah, I've noticed that the faceless accounts get away with everything.
Yeah.
And if they
Mm-hmm.
can put a face to you, then you're the enemy. But there'll be like 30 other accounts doing the same thing. But
Mm.
since you're not a faceless account, they can like see who you are. Then they want to like start shit with you. But it's like the faceless accounts are just as guilty, of spreading the story too. But they don't feel that way. They're just like, well, I don't know who to go after, so they leave it alone. And it's like that's not fair. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like I'll break the story, and then there's a faceless Facebook slash blog account that, let's say on Facebook, they have like 100,000 followers or something, and they basically just steal my tea, post it to 100,000 people, get zero flack from cast members, and then I'm posting it on my account with just less than that, and then I'm the one getting like all the shit and threats and stuff.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. It's annoying. I really hate those faceless accounts though,
Mm.
because all they do is steal other people's information and repost it as their own. It's
Yeah.
like, and they do it because they're a faceless account, because they know that no one knows who to go after, no one knows who to call out. And if you message them or ask them to take down or give credit, they don't have to do it because they're not a real person. They're a
Yeah.
faceless account. They don't have to comply.
Yeah, and a lot of them have like I hate to like I don't want to give them a plug, but they have like generic ass like 90-day breaking blah 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 is like their username.
Yeah, complete generic BS, and it's ridiculous. And a lot of the cast members have said to me before, they're like, "Yeah, I block all those fake stupid accounts, the ones that don't have a face and they post, because one of them, I don't want to say the name of it, but it posted that Kim story where it said that she had a heart attack the
Yeah.
other like last this week or whatever, and they just post
Mm-hmm.
BS. And a lot of the cast members were like, "Yeah, we unfollow and we don't interact with these accounts because they're just basically out there spreading lies and to no consequence. Nobody holds them accountable. Nobody is deleting anything because it's not true. They're just out there posting for clicks. So a lot of the cast members are completely against those type of accounts as well.
Yeah, so those accounts get to say crazy shit and no one gives a fuck, and then we break some like hot stories, and then it's like everyone's breathing down my neck and shit.
Yeah, it's annoying. Annoying.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
I told you that. It's very heavy. It weighs you down. It
Yeah.
definitely weighs you down.
All right, let me look at my topics list.
It's like walking with Darcy's tits on your chest. Gonna weigh you down. You're gonna be hunched over. It's gonna be too hard to move because those tits are not proportionate to that body.
True. Let's try to buzz through these topics. So we don't have to dwell on this one, but we found out like Ray, which is the dude that was with Annie slash Brenda, who's like, so I guess he works in like IT. I don't know if you want to say where he works, but he works in the IT field. But and he was photographed with like two women wearing a Team Ray shirt.
Yeah. And his account was private.
Hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's like about this celebrity life or this TV life, because his account, usually when people air on the show, when their episode airs, they unprivate their account. They want the attention. He didn't do that. So I don't know if he like really wants that clout like most cast members or their supporting friends do when they go on the show.
Yeah, he probably saw my diptych meme with his head next to Beetlejuice's head, and said, "Yeah, maybe I don't want to engage with this community."
Yeah, he probably was like, you know what? This is not no.
This is not for me. No,
Right.
not
Cause
not
and
doing this.
that was like inaugural. That was right when he first aired. So it's only gonna go downhill.
Yeah,
Right. So
because he technically hasn't really been on a full episode. Or whatever.
right, exactly. We
Like,
just
we're already like we're already goofing on him, and he's not really on the show yet.
yeah, that you know what? He might have actually privated his account after he saw what people were saying in like his 5 minutes on the show. He was like, Jesus, I was only on for like 5 minutes at the end of one episode, and they have already compared me to like. He was like, you know what? No, I'm privating this. You're not gonna drag me. You're not.
Yeah. And I might as well throw her under the bus, but Amini slash Amani thought that was like a funny meme. So there you go, Ray. Get mad at her.
He's the one that posted his original photo too.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to get mad at anybody, it's on her because his account was private, and then she posted his original private photo on her account. So yeah, if you want to be mad at somebody, she the one that did it. You know, like it wasn't us, it was her.
True. Okay, so that was Ray, and look it up on my Instagram at Shabooty.com. And then speaking of Instagram, so I unveiled one of the 90-day Hunt for Love contestants slash cast members that people didn't know of. So that's just, and I think I mentioned her last in a previous episode. But so it's like it's a Maxim model named Elise. And then one thing I did learn though is they're not like the other cast members that are new. They're not allowed to like publicly say that they're on the show yet.
Oh yeah, because technically they announced the 90-day cast members,
Yeah.
but they haven't really unveiled who the singles were. So yeah, that's technically still under NDA.
Yeah, but luckily for me, I'm not under no NDA. So I haven't posted it yet, but I have like two in no Diddy, but I got two in the chamber. There's like one that's like an African American like fitness model type, and then there's this one white guy who's like a fitness model type. So there's two other models, male model types like that I know that I'm aware of that I just haven't posted it because I'm not really excited to post like pictures of dudes, but I have that ready to go whenever.
Well, they're also because you posted a picture of like a Maxim model before too, right?
Well,
So
the chick is this chick.
so it kind of seems like they're
Oh,
only casting models or fitness models.
yeah, fitness guy.
Like I said, influencers,
Yeah, you're right.
pretty
Influencers.
influencers.
Pretty influencers is you're right, the correct term, which is kind of the direction that we asked them not to go when it comes to 90 Day. But again, they're doing the opposite of what we've asked them to do because we were like, hey, we don't want to watch influencers on a reality TV show. We want to watch reality TV on a reality TV show. And here they go again, booking a bunch of influencers for the show.
Mhm. So yeah, expect basically some, the regular 90 people that you're familiar with matched with like basically, and let me just say allegedly, because I'm just like talking shit, but roided up dudes and Maxim model chicks with like probably fake tits. So that's who they're gonna match up with.
Mm,
I don't know. It would be interesting.
right.
More interesting to just see the 90 Day people hooking up with each other, to be honest, because I don't know who these other people are. So it's gonna be, I don't know how exciting it'll be to see like Tiffany meet hooking up with some fitness influencer. You're like, I don't know how interesting that will be per se, rather than like just seeing Soulja Boy and Courtney hooking up. At least I know who they are.
Yeah, like I'm just picturing like Liz on there, like matching up with like like a ripped bodybuilder type, like how much of that I would be able to stomach.
That would actually be funny to watch though, because she was with the complete opposite of that. She was with like a 3 foot tall non-influencer bodybuilder. That would actually be kind of funny to see her with like a man of normal stature who doesn't look like a peanut M&M. Like that would actually be kind of interesting. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Well, I told her what she should do is like go the other way and date like a Filipino guy, which is like a reverse Rose.
Oh, I see what you did
Oh.
there. I like that. It's a
Wouldn't that be
little
hilarious, her dating a Filipino dude?
it's a little cultural appropriative, but I like that.
You'll
You
see.
know, you do the reverse. I mean, okay, I like it. I like it. I don't know if she's into that, but whatever.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that was a good. I don't know why I'm not a producer, but yes, that was just an idea that I threw out there.
I mean, look, in 5 minutes, you've come up with better ideas for the show than the producers have in the last 2 years. That's why I said I was like, I think that they should fire all the storyline editors, the storyboard editors, whatever they call them now,
Yeah.
and get a fresh group of people in there so we can stop watching the same Muslim couple or the same, like, I'm just sick of seeing the same exact thing, or the older guy, younger girl, the American girl, Muslim guy. Like, we need some fresh faces with some fresh ideas. Because
Go ahead.
I'm done with the recycled bullshit.
well, it's even if you brainstorm for 5 minutes, you can come up with better storylines that they've been giving us. Like you said, having that reverse thing, that's interesting to me. Or they tried to do it with Chantel. She went from Pedro to dating girls. They tried to do the reverse thing there, but you got to be a little more creative with it. Like, the show has been on for 11 years. You got to get a little more creative. You are going to lose people if you don't.
True. So there's this like video game called like Claire Obscure Expedition 33, right? And
I
it's
don't know. I don't play video games. I don't know.
Yeah, unless it's on Nintendo, you're asking the wrong person.
we'll just bear with me because so apparently it's like a hit, and it's like, anyway, it's like a huge cultural phenomenon. And then the kind of the interesting part of it is apparently the staff that worked on the game was only like 30 people worked on it, not counting like external like talent that they hired to do like voiceover and music and shit. Well, not music, but anyway, so long story long, this small studio in France that built this video game that's a huge hit now, probably game of the year. It's called Clair Obscur. And the only reason I bring this up, and I know this is random, I have a reason for bringing it up. So let me just read. It was only like 4 bullet points, but the director thought up the idea while he was bored at Ubisoft, which is like a large company. The lead writer of the game was found on Reddit. The composer had never worked on a video game. It was found from SoundCloud, and the game was mostly made by junior developers, and the team was 30 people, and now it's like a hit game of the year, already sold over at least like 2 or 3 million copies, and it's like the best game of the year. And the point I'm trying to make is like it was comprised of kind of like I said, well, like it says, it's like the lead writer was found on Reddit, the composer was from SoundCloud, the developers are junior developers, and then the director was this guy who was bored at his day job at a large company and started his own little studio. So the point is like, if you took that same philosophy to like the 90-day world or production side of, Sharp Entertainment, and had some fresh new talent that are younger or less storied as far as a resume, you could still come up with some amazing shit. That's the point I was trying to make.
Well, you're right, though. You don't have to recreate the wheel or reinvent the wheel to get some creativity. And sometimes it just takes fresh minds, fresh people, a fresh outlook. And if I don't know how long they employ producers and story editors for the show, but if they've been there since the show premiered 11 years ago, it might be time to get some new, fresh faces in there, because we are literally recycling the unrecyclable at this point. Like, we are on like the 80th American girl Muslim man couple. Like, we are like at the end of the rope at this. Like, we really need some better ideas.
Yeah, so that was that point. I think the moral of the story is, yeah, I think like new blood, whether it's like, younger, can still come up with some amazing shit.
Yeah, and I always think that the longer you work in a position, the less creative and um innovative you are in that position. I think because you never notice that companies always switch CEOs. Like, they'll get a CEO, and then every so many years there's a new CEO. You have to always have a fresh outlook, and you can't keep the same people in the same job. Like, I don't know any company that's had a CEO from the day they started till now. You always have to switch those people up to make sure that you're always being innovative and staying up with the times.
So that's that. Yeah, as far as the David, what's David's last name? But the deaf guy. I guess
I'll find out.
I guess anyway, David the deaf guy. He said he's gonna start an OnlyFans to teach sign language on OnlyFans. But so what do you think of that idea?
David Dangerfield.
Dangerfield, yes.
Dangerfield, right?
Dangerfield.
Wait, it's not like Rodney Dangerfield?
Oh, is it
Or
Dangerfield or
Dangerfield, sorry.
Oh, Danger. Oh, okay, yeah. I
Yeah.
like that. I didn't realize he had the Dangerfield last name. That is very, very celebrity of him. I didn't realize that. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if you need to pay to learn sign language because, like, if you go on YouTube, there's like videos that'll teach you sign language for free.
Mhm.
But I admire his hustle because we know that he's trying to save up to get a house, and I know he had his GoFundMe. I admire that he's looking to do something and offer a service and not just open a GoFundMe and ask people to just hand him money. Like I admire that. But again, I don't know if you need OnlyFans. That's a weird place to go to learn to learn sign language. That's like a weird place to go. But I respect his hustle because David and Mary, or no, Brandon and Mary would have just asked for some money. So I
Wow.
respect the right. Like I respect the fact that at least he's like, no, I'm not just asking for a handout. I'll teach you sign language. Like at least he's trying.
I'm wondering if he's gonna do it, or people told him like, "Oh my God, don't do that on OnlyFans. That has a negative connotation."
I
It's like a
mean,
platform.
it does. Do you remember? Oh my gosh! So a couple years ago, I don't remember exactly. OnlyFans announced that they were gonna ban sexual content. Do y'all remember that?
I feel like for half a second, yeah.
Yeah, and then it obviously didn't work because their business model is built around sexual content. But for like a hot second, I want to say it was around COVID. I don't remember exactly when this was. They announced that they were trying to move away from that type of content, and because they wanted to be known for other things, and that lasted maybe 5 seconds, and
Look,
then they
Was that
reneged.
like
but
when TikTok got banned in the United States for like a weekend?
Yes, it was kind of like that. It was kind of like that.
A
Okay,
hot minute?
do you remember Tumblr? I think it was around the time
Yeah.
that Tumblr was disappearing is when OnlyFans said that. I think. Don't quote me, but I know that they really did want to press for a non-porn business plan, but unfortunately, you can't recreate something that's not broken. You can't fix it. It works perfectly fine the way it was, and they realized that, and they did not ban the content. So I think this would have been really in line with what they were trying to do back then, because they're like, oh no, you're not going on there to look at girls' tits. You're going on there to learn sign language. This is like a very uplifting site, but no, it didn't stick.
yeah, so I don't know if he's gonna proceed with the OF, but he definitely knows how to use his fingers, ladies. Wink, wink.
Oh God.
I mean, you got to. You got to. I mean, he can also like set up his own little website and do. 'Cause you know how David and Annie, you can buy like cooking classes when you pay them like a crap ton of money, and they'll Zoom you on Zoom, and they'll cook with you. He could also do something like that as
Oh
well, where
yeah.
he would do those personalized lessons and charge like each individual for their little session, or he can even step it up a notch and pre-record all his videos and put it on the master class, and then you can just buy the videos in the order that you need them. Like if he really wanted to get technical, because that's what they do on master class. You just buy the class, and then they send you the videos in order like it's a textbook. Like that would work too.
Mhm. True. So let me just go through it.
Or YouTube.
Well, you can't sell it on YouTube though, right? I feel like he's looking for
I
money.
don't know.
Yeah, he got to make money. I think David is looking for a way to make money, which I respect. He's not just out there asking people for money because he did before. He's actually trying to sell a service and
Mhm.
get something. I respect that more than like Brandon and Mary, who are just like, can y'all just send us money and Amazon stuff? You're like, they literally don't even try.
Mhm.
They're like, here's our Amazon wish list and here's my Cash App. Just send me stuff. Like they literally don't even try.
True. All right, let's go to my post that I did the most, and it was my post I did today about. It was a little bit of follow up with the Sean stuff. Did you see that one?
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah. So let me pull it up. Basically, let me give a little backstory on this post. It's on my Instagram, but it's this Reddit post. But the way this kind of Reddit post originated, well, I guess I could read my caption. It depends. But here's my caption. I said, explaining the origins of this Reddit thread will be confusing, but I will try. I posted my original T post last Friday, and Sean and Joan about, wait, let's see. Okay, sorry. I posted my original T-post last Friday on Sean and Joan reportedly splitting. A European, this is kind of in reference to the guy that steals all my content. A European blogger that notoriously lifts all my posts without any credit also posts them on Facebook, and he did just that. That link was then posted onto a 90-day subreddit. Then these comments came from there, but my post last week is what spurred all this tea. And then I said, since my post, Sean and Joan have started following each other on Instagram again to cover their tracks. You're welcome. And then, so the most interesting comment on the Reddit screenshots that I posted today was the first one, which is, it kind of corroborates some of it, where it says, quote from a Redditor, it says, my sister works with someone who knows the couple. I think the person is related to Joan. My sister told me months ago that Joan returned home and his stuff was gone. From my understanding, Joan was blindsided. She didn't kick him out. So it seems from this source, allegedly, he basically just grabbed all of his belongings and got the fuck out while she wasn't home.
Oh, but wait, what do they mean by I think it's the person that's related to her? Are they referring to the person that he's with now?
No, that's the source.
Oh, so the person who knows them.
Yeah,
Okay, because I was like, wait, is he like with her sister or something? Okay, okay, now I understand.
sure. Yeah, that was the source. And then just some of the comments, I guess. Let's see. Some of the comments, it says like, wow, get the green card and split, asshole. And then this one says, why on earth does he even want a green card? Living in Ireland in 2025 is far superior than living in the United States in 2025. If I had the chance to leave here and legally move to Ireland or anywhere in Europe, you would not see me for dust. And then this one says, apparently there may be an ex. This is another alleged thing. Apparently there may be an ex-girlfriend in Boston involved. Someone made a comment in this post, and that one I'm not sure about. Um, and then this says this, and then this comment is basically kind of regurgitating my tea, but it's saying like, I love it. I'm a researcher too. When I get a hit, I go down the rabbit hole. Thank you for doing the work. I had a huge feeling something was off. Uh, and then anyway, it says now there's word she turns up home and all his stuff is gone. He ghosts her and then starts a podcast called quote How's Your Minge, which apparently minge equals vagina. Okay, buddy, something's way off. So it seems like Reddit is turning on Sean, who like could do no wrong a few months ago. um, and just two more comments real quick. It says like classy guy. I said from the jump that he looks like every local Coke dealer in the UK and Ireland. How many people thought he was all that? And then this one says he gave me Conor McGregor vibes, creepy AF. I saw a recent picture of Connor and he looks like absolute trash. When you live evil, it eventually shows its face. And then the last part got cut off. So that's the latest Sean T.
Well, people definitely don't love him as much as they used to,
Yeah.
which I never understood why they did in the first place. I was so confused, and I've told you this a million times. I was just like, I don't get why women are so like wet for him. I don't understand. And the fact that the alleged tea is that Joanne came home from work one day, I'm assuming, and he just was gone. That's
Mhm.
insane. Like he didn't even tell her that he didn't want to be with her anymore. He didn't like break up with her. He just packed his stuff and left. That's
He pulled like a Devin.
oh, that is what Devin did.
But,
Oh
but,
my God.
but at least Devin told well he was at least told him at that point.
Well, once they showed up in the U-Haul is
Yeah.
when Devin told Nick that she was leaving, which that's pretty savage, right? Because I'm pretty sure when he saw the U-Haul pull up, he kind of knew what was going down, you know?
That is savage if your wife does that, yeah.
I know that is that like I feel like she is so badass. Like she literally and she knew because her parents were driving down. So she knew for hours that she was about to leave him and didn't say a damn word. That is so savage. Like I love her for that because she literally is sitting in the house looking at him eating, acting like everything is
Well,
fine, and she was leaving him.
yeah, I will say like just to play devil's advocate, like I love her for the savages, but at the same time, like if you're him, like that's a little rough too.
I mean, yeah, yeah. And I feel the same for Joanne. Like they said that she got blindsided, came home, and all his stuff was gone. And I think that's even more scary because you bring somebody over here on a visa and then you don't even know what their whereabouts are.
Mhm.
Like
Oh,
you don't.
is that what an Irish goodbye means? Oh, you leave a
Oh,
party and say
Oh,
bye, right?
yeah, it's an Irish goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. He did the Irish goodbye. She's a psychic. She should have known that was coming.
This is true. A lot of that was the first thing I thought of because I was like, if she's a psychic, she should have known exactly how this relationship was going to end before it started because that's the whole point of being a psychic, right? So a lot of people are saying, well, she must not be a good psychic because she didn't pinpoint this. Like she should have known she was going to come home and he wasn't going to be there. Right? But again, I don't know if that's how that works because if that were true, all psychics would play the Powerball and never work again because they would all be billionaires. So I don't know if it works that way. I think that it doesn't because if that were the case, we wouldn't have psychics because they would all be billionaires.
Hmm. True. So that's the Shanti. Let's just buzz through all our topics for you. You got to go. So like, there's the Shahs of Sunset are going to come back to Bravo as the Valley Persian style. And are you at all interested?
I don't even know what that is. Like,
Have, have you ever watched Shahs of Sunset on Bravo back in the day?
no.
Okay.
Is it like the it sounds like a real estate show. Am I right?
No, it's like, well, it's produced by Andy Bravo, but no, it's kind of like, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it, but for example, there's a chick named like MJ on it. It was this like heavy, well, it's all Persian people, but Persian Americans, but there's a heavy set chick named MJ who reminds me of like Snooki. There's like this like weed head. There's a cute weed head girl named Gigi who's like kind of a C word, but she's like hot, so she gets away with it. And then there's this gay Persian guy named like Reza who's just like really fun. He's kind of like this. He's kind of like the center of the universe of the show. He's like really. He's like a funny gay guy. Uh, and then they had this one guy, Mike, who was on the show, who's kind of like a meathead, but I think he's like canceled off the show because he had like some allegedly like domestic violence type things. So he's not going to be on the new iteration. But anyway, it's just like a group of like Iranian American people that are they're in,
I remember watching it.
yeah, they're in like Los
Oh,
Angeles and they're kind of like douchey, but they're also kind of funny. And it was the only Bravo show I kind of liked.
Oh, so it's coming back. So technically, I could just watch it when it comes back, and I could just start like everybody else.
Oh, and then did you watch the Goat show?
Yes,
Okay,
I
so
did watch it.
Reza was on the Goat with Paola.
Oh, yeah, I sure did watch the goat. Okay,
Do you remember Reza now off the show?
hold on. I'm gonna Google the goat and see if I
Google Reza Goat.
yeah, if I recognize her. Hold on.
Him.
Oh, it's a him.
Yeah,
Okay,
Reza's like a guy's name.
all
But
right. Let me see.
anyway, so anyway, Shahs of Sunset was pretty good. I don't know if I watched. I'm not saying I watched every single season or every single episode, but I watched more than not. So anyway, like I said, there was issues with that guy Mike, and it kind of resulted in the show getting canceled. And then now they're basically like bringing it back without Mike. So, but they're just renaming it like the Valley Persian style. So that's
I don't know. I don't remember him.
okay. Well, there's people in the chat that know what I'm talking about. So anyway, yeah, like
Oh wait.
what Lana
Oh
says
no.
she watches every season. Pineapple Girl says I got back, but Reza was, I believe, the first one off the go. Okay, but Lana's
Oh,
excited.
that might be why. That might be. If he was the first one voted off, that's why I don't remember him.
Yeah, so Lana's a huge fan. So anyway, that's something to consider watching because I want to like at some point, hopefully, it doesn't kill us with all the podcasts and shit we do, but I want to expand into other shows and shit. So
well, we don't have much of a choice considering this has been our your show altogether is better than what TLC puts out.
yeah, and
Well,
then for sure. And then like so I was talking to, according to Amber, check her out. She's cool. But she was telling me like, and I mean, I watched like Love is Blind when the first two seasons came out, but then I assumed people were like me and kind of got bored of it. But apparently, like, I didn't realize Love is Blind is still like a huge hit and super relevant. So that's something we may want to consider watching again for the podcast purposes. Do you watch that?
I don't, but I could. You know, like I am actually I'm having a really big issue lately where every time I turn on my TV and open the DVR, there's nothing on it.
Yeah.
It's been happening a lot this month. And last month. So I am definitely in the market for new shows.
Yeah. So
So
then the new but we're gonna have to wait a little bit. Well, first of all, I only want to watch like when new seasons come out. I don't want to like if the show has been out for 2 months. I mean, if the last season has been out for 2 months, I don't want to do like a podcast 2 months later. So, but the new season, the next season of Love Is Blind, I think it's gonna come out in like September or fall, and it's gonna be in like Colorado. But once it comes out, I want to at least like watch the first episode to see if I could, if I'm not bored or not. But if so, then we could do like a podcast. And apparently, I'm told by according to Amber, shout out to her, that like posts on like Instagram about Love Is Blind and like on TikTok they like perform well and stuff. So I think if it's like results in posts and content that does well, it's definitely worth like expanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Love is Blind is like Married at First Sight, but better. Isn't that so? That's what I'm being told. It's like it's like Married at First Sight, but like better. Is that true?
It's kind of like it's basically, and again, I haven't watched the newer seasons, so if they've changed up the format, I'm not familiar. I'm only familiar with the first two seasons, but yeah, it's basically like people are sitting in a pod, but they can't see the other person, so they're just talking to each other, but they don't know what they look like, and then they try to charm them just by their personality, and then if they both like each other's personality, then I forget how it all works, but eventually they get to see each other in person, and if they're ugly, they have to pretend they like them.
Oh, you have to pretend that you like them. Oh,
I mean, you don't
girl.
have to, but I feel like most of them play, because you're not,
Yeah.
oh my God, you're horrible.
I mean, it says they have to build an emotional connection before physical attraction, which I actually don't disagree. It sounds great, but I have to be attracted or it's not going to work. And
Yeah.
I don't want to sound like
Shallow.
shallow, but I have to be attracted, or because you can have an amazing personality and you can be like funny and great, but we're probably not going to get married if you're like not my type. And I know that sounds so shallow, but at the end of the day, I'm not a person like, have you ever? Okay, so I remember I was talking to a friend and I remember they were talking about their ex. And I was like, show me a picture of this person. And because they were talking about the person and they showed me a picture and the person looked nothing like anything that they had ever dated. They didn't look attractive. There are a million different things. And I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. I've never seen you date someone like that before. And they were like, yeah, I tried to date the person because they had a great personality and they had a good job and they were educated and they were smart. And I was like, yeah, but you're attracted to idiots. So I totally understand why it didn't work. Like, because it is, we are who we are, right? Like, there are girls that are only dating guys that are bad boys with tattoos and they smoke and they have a motorcycle. We are who we are, right? So I know that something good on paper. Like I watched Love After Lockup, and I love how the women. It's usually just the women. The guy will sound really good on paper. He'll have a house, a car, a good job. He can give the girl everything that she needs to keep her out of prison. But when she gets to the guy and she sees him and lays her eyes on him, she would rather cut her eyes out with a butter knife than touch
Mhm.
him, because we are who we are and we love who we love and we want what we want. So it's like, on paper it'll sound great, but then like in real life it just won't work. It just won't.
Mhm. Yeah, and I heard like, I don't know if it was last season or 2 seasons ago, that I heard there was like a threesome or something, but I don't know how that would go down.
On Love Is Blind,
Oh God. And
I don't know. The people that are listening live, let us know. Is there like a threesome?
this does sound interesting. Maybe we should watch. This sounds really interesting. I've never seen one episode, so I would have to start with season. It says there's 8 of them. I would at least have to
oh
go
Lord.
back and watch the first one and the last one that aired, just so I get like a little idea of how it started to how it's going. I'd have to do that minimally.
Yeah, again, I don't know what the seasons. I don't know what the newest seasons like what's going down, but I feel like the first. I can't remember if it was season 1 or season 2, but there was like that wholesome couple, which was like it was like the white guy and then like the African American chick, and they were like the wholesome couple that everyone was like, oh my God, they're so sweet, they really love each other. So there was that happened, and then I don't know what happened subsequently, but
Yeah, I don't want to watch like fluff. I want to watch like drama. So,
yeah,
Well, it says oh, okay. It says the last episode that aired was in March. So
yeah.
it might still be on.
No, I don't think the.
Or that was it. That was the end of season 8 was in March. Okay, that was
Yeah.
the end.
Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if the threesome thing was Love at First Sight or Love is Blind, but there was somebody had a threesome most in a recent season of one of those shows.
Well, that sounds interesting. Like I like actual throuple situations, not like fake forced situations where one of them is just a stripper trying to get out of the hood. I like the real stuff.
Yeah, so we should definitely consider watching that. I will say, I know somebody mentioned the show The Circle. Like I watched The Circle like a couple seasons, but it's one of those shows that what I find aggravating about it is it's one of those shows where first of all they'll do like they'll post like 3 or 4 episodes in chunks, like 3 episodes, and then you wait like a week and then another like 3 episodes, and then you wait another week and then they may post like 1 or 2 episodes and stuff, and then they'll post like the finale. But then it's like once the finale's posted on Netflix, and then if basically, if you read a news article that says who won, then there's literally no point of watching once it gets leaked out who won.
Yeah, that's my biggest pet peeve is streaming services that release things weekly or
Mhm.
like not all at once. And I know they don't. And I know that, okay, so devil's advocate, I know that they do it because they don't want to release it on a Monday. And then on a Monday, everyone online knows what happened on the finale. I know that's why they do it. But I really, really hate streaming shows weekly. I
Mhm.
love to binge my shows. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a huge turnoff for me. Like I'm watching Hacks right now on Max and they only put an episode on there every week and I'm like, oh my god, is this like 1997? I gotta wait till next week to watch the show. Like I hate it drives me literally insane that they make me sit down and watch a 30-minute episode then make me wait 7 days to watch another one. Like this is not 1996. Like why am I
Or
paying you for streaming if I can't stream it?
Like
or when Netflix wants to screw you over and basically put one series and put it into like two parts, and then the next part comes out like 4 episodes of it comes out 1 month later.
like Pineapple Girl, when Love is Blind comes out, it comes in what, like 3 or 4 episode chunks? Let us know in the chat, please. Okay, she says yes. And then how do you know?
Ugh,
Oh, that's not bad. So it's like 3 or 4 at a time. So we could watch one or two, and then we could do a podcast and cover like 1 or 2 episodes, or what? Like so it doesn't have to be like a weekly thing. We get as they come out, we can watch the episode and then just talk about the most notable stuff from the chunk of episodes that were released instead of waiting, doing a weekly one as well. Like so, yeah, I don't mind. Three of them every week is better than just one. I'll take what I can get. Like I do like when they release like 3 episodes and then next week or well, I don't know if it's every week, but it's like maybe you wait 2 weeks and there's another three. I can do that because at least I can binge them, right? I can get it done.
Yeah, so look for we'll probably title it 9DFF LIB or 9DFF Love is Blind edition.
That reminds me of NKBOTSB, whatever. Remember when it was like New Kids on the Block in the Backstreet? That reminds me.
NKOTB, get it right.
I couldn't think of it, but I was like, it reminds me of all of those letters when they did that, and I was like, that's hilarious.
NKOTB, BSB, and sing. Everything's
Or I guess
abbreviated.
we call it Love is Blind Fridays, but I don't know when we would record it. Not on a Friday.
Yeah.
Well, we have to figure out when the show actually aired, and
Yeah.
then maybe.
Oh,
Well, that's
well,
not true though, because 90 Day doesn't come on a Friday. Yeah, you're right. That's true.
True.
How about we cross that point when we get there?
Pineapple Girl, when do they release the new chunks of episodes? Like on a Tuesday?
It's probably a Sunday. The best shows are on Sundays. I have learned that.
Well, Pineapple
Netflix
Girl,
has it.
let us know.
Netflix usually releases it on Thursday, like at midnight.
Oh, Thursdays. I don't mind that because I have a lot of stuff that I watch on Sundays, so I don't really want to add to the one day that I have a lot going on. So yeah, I could do like a Thursday night, and then we could do something Friday on it. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. And also, I'm gonna be doing a pop culture podcast, and I want to talk about like the Diddy case. So like if y'all want to hop on with me, because there's gonna be a lot of testifying, a lot of previously nameless people are gonna be testifying, and we'll get to know what's going on, and we'll be able to get transcripts of their
I am
testimony.
down.
So yeah, so we can discuss that because I know Al B. Sure, y'all might not be old enough, but Al B. Sure was a singer back then, and he's testifying. He used to be with Kim Porter before Diddy took Kim Porter away. He's going to be testifying against Diddy in the trial, and he's actually going to be blaming the death of Kim Porter on Diddy on the stand. So
Shit.
this case is going to be insane. So yeah, I'm going to do a pop culture, the Diddy trial podcast where we're just going to kind of monitor what's going on in the show on the case, and then we're gonna go and like do a roundtable and just discuss what transpired during the trial. So I think that might be fun too, so people can get like a little, it'll be the same people, us, that we usually talk about 9 but we'll be talking about something that's a current event. But everybody, it doesn't really matter who you are. Somebody has some sort of stake in this Diddy trial. There's something intriguing about it to everyone that they want to know what's going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of tube steak at stake as well. Oh, funny joke.
There's a lot. So yeah, that'll be fun too. And we ran into some hiccups with the true crime podcast. So we know what we're doing on episode 1, but we haven't recorded it yet. There's been a lot of stuff going on my personal life, but that's coming as well. And I do want to do the crossover episode still with you guys where we talk about some of the crime stories that evolved from 90 Day Fiance, because there's actually quite a few. I was looking over it and there's quite a few crazy crime stories that came from 90 Day Fiance cast members. So that'll be a fun little crossover episode too.
True. Sounds good. Just let us know. We'll actually respond to your texts, unlike some of our co-hosts. Anyway.
Yeah. Moving on.
Let's see. Did you see the dorky throwback photo I posted of Jasmine in 2022? I forgot how dorky she was.
Oh yeah, before she had all of the work done on her face and body.
And she was wearing a dorky hat like Gina.
She actually looks like somebody's mom in this photo, which is ironic because she is. She is, but you would never know based on how she looks now. But in this photo, she literally looks like someone's mom.
Yep. And I like that version of Jasmine that was fresh off the boat.
Yeah, she was nice. She was tolerable. She was kind. She didn't seem horrific to be around, like she was very, very tolerable. And it's almost like she got a knife and murdered this version of herself, because I don't even see it in her anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I miss that Jasmine. That's Jasmine in this photo. Jasmine and I were friends. I don't know if y'all know that. I've probably told y'all. Jasmine and I were friends.
This was the wholesome Jasmine.
Yeah, we were cool. We were very close. We talked. We had a friendship. But the Jasmine that y'all know today, we are not friends. That is not the Jasmine that I got to know so many years ago that we built a good relationship with. This Jasmine that y'all see now. I don't know her. I don't know her. She, Mariah Carey, when asked about J-Lo, I don't know her. I don't know this Jasmine. This is a weird version. I don't know her.
Mm-hmm. Sure. All right. Well, we're at our what's it called? Epilogue segment, which is the strip club reviews.
Oh, are we at the strip club reviews? Oh wow, the show went pretty quick tonight.
Well, that's good, right?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So yeah, we're at the strip club reviews, and last week was a pretty huge show. Just to mention, we unveiled Triple X Beast's employment, his job. Not position, like we don't know what he did, but we know the profession and the level of, what do you call it? The army? The level, what do you call them?
Navy.
Yeah.
Navy. In the Navy.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about nothing. So yeah, the Navy. But that was really interesting. So now that we know that, as we go over his strip club reviews, now in the back of our mind, we're gonna always be linking that job and profession to the way that he writes his reviews and stuff. So I feel like it's gonna make his reviews even better.
True. All right, this is for a club. Well, Gina, hold on. What's the name of the club?
It's called the Men's Club of Houston.
Okay.
Oh, we're going to Houston. Okay.
Yeah.
Men's Club of Houston.
It's weird that they called it the men's club instead of the ladies club.
A lot of reviews had on here that I didn't include. They weren't funny. There is a lot of talk about the buffet and the food.
Oh,
So,
good.
That's good. But you know it's good when there's naked people dancing everywhere and all people can talk about is the buffet. You know it's
yeah,
good.
yeah. But those weren't too funny. There's some in here, but you'll see.
Okay, are y'all ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Hold your laughter until I read each review. Um,
Yeah, George.
okay, here's the first one from okay, the first review is from Yannard, Yanard. This person says, well, I'm sure it's a guy. 3-star review. Good titty bar, a little too upscale for me. Chicks are hot, and my cousin James said that he was able to have sex with one of the girls for $200, and that was for 30 minutes. And the chick had a motel room 2 blocks down. Seems kind of high to me, but he said she was hot as hell. And for $200, she said he could put his thing in any hole. I'm still not sold on this place, but I will give it another try.
He's still not sold? I mean, what's there not to love? $200 and he didn't even have to cover the cost of the motel. She already had one.
Mhm.
And any hole was in play. Okay. Like, I don't know what this guy expects, but I want to say, I don't know what the going rate for a hooker is, but I think it's probably more than $200.
Especially for any hole.
Well, right. I feel like that was a steal. So he's like, I'm not even sold on that. I was like, so what do you think the rate is for any hole in play? $50? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, I don't know, but we're learning things about Houston.
Very quickly.
Yeah. Okay, this is a really long 4-star review from Jack Cough. Is that like a play on words like Jack off?
That is exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that is such a third grade thing to do, but okay.
This is Jack Cough, but luckily I'm smart and I caught it so I don't sound silly. Anyway, speaking of sounding silly, here's his review. It's a long one though, so hold in there. Um, He says, I'm usually a regular several times a month at St. James. I've got a couple irregular girls I like to see there, but once in a blue moon, I'll check out this club to see how things are hanging. Club always appears to be clean, although one time in the private room, I found a gram baggie on the floor off to the side. I think that means like Coke, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
That's me talking. Um, it says had probably a little less than a gram of stuff in it. The girl that was giving me a dance asked me if I wanted to do a couple of bumps. I passed on the offer, but she didn't hesitate to take herself up on the offer. Um, sorry, I guess it just comes with the territory most of the time. Good variety of girls. Sometimes they seem to be more occupied with their phones than they do the customers, which I guess they're not too worried about making tips. The club staff seems to be pretty nice. The club is a bit more of a drive up or drive from where I stay up in the woodlands, but it works out if the girls I want to see aren't working at St. James and I feel like something's different. The club is nice and classy upscale, pretty much on the same level as St. James. I've never eaten the food here, so I can't comment on that. The drinks seem to be good. I'm not a big drinker, though. All in all, for me, St. James is quite a bit closer, and usually at least one of the couple of the girls I like to see is working when I'm there. But when they're not, I'm in the mood for something different. This club hits a spot. Now, it seems like he just keeps talking about St. James Club or something.
Yeah, it seems like he would rather be at the St. James Club.
James Club.
Yeah, so
Yeah, this felt like a review for a different club.
it did. It did.
Yeah.
The only thing is, why would you take anything in a baggie and do
Well,
do
I don't think
whatever
he
you
did. I
need
think
to
the girl
do?
did, right?
That's what I mean. That
Well, the
could be
girls don't give a
those are
fuck.
what's lace.
The girls, they don't give a. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
strippers care as long as it's in a bag. All right, here's a Harrison 69, 2 stars. He says, mute your mics. He says, this is not a 1-star place because truly the women are absolutely beautiful. They are fit. It's obvious they take that part of the job serious. They are pretty, no questioning that. Here goes the big but, not literally. These women do not dance. Their pole dancing abilities are absolutely zilch. and the music is miserable. And please do not pay to go to the VIP area. There is no benefit to going up there. This strip club is miserable. The women are pretty, the place itself is fresh, but seriously, it's almost like a church. No fun, very boring, poor dancers, just pretty eye candy. It's almost an oxymoron. Also, there's no diversity. Every chick is 5'6", white with fake boobs and a firm ass. If that's your thing, go here. If you want to see anything else, even the slightest tan, stay away. I think this 2 out of 5 is justified because truthfully, the place isn't a crap hole, but it certainly isn't the place for me. That end of review.
I've never heard someone compare a strip club to a church.
Mhm.
Yeah, neither have I. That's why I had to go in there.
That was a really, he's like, it's like a church. And I was like, I can't think of any way that a strip club and a church are alike. So that was a fun review for me because I was like, huh, okay, that's interesting. I've never seen anybody at a church dressed remotely the way that I think that you would see a girl dressed at a strip club. So I don't know.
Mm. Here's a 4-word, 1 sentence, 4-star review from Sam. It says, "Go with Gail, best BJ." Okay.
Was that it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he basically said Gail gives the best VJs at the club. Is that what he's basically saying?
Yeah, and this one's from 2001, so I don't know if Gail is still there, but
Oh, I hope not. Oh my God. She would be, that's even older than Brenda or, well, Ani Brenda. Like, Jesus, she would be like in her 50s.
mhm.
But you know what they say? A lot of guys say the older women with no teeth give the best blowjobs.
True. Um,
You said that like you know, but we're
no,
just
no,
gonna.
no,
No.
I didn't mean true, true. I just meant true. Let me get to the next review. Oh,
Sure, sure.
Well, how would you know, George?
I don't. I said that people told me that. I don't know
no,
that.
I've heard, isn't the nickname for that called like a gummy? Because it's like they only have gums.
Yes, but guys say that that's the best
So, well,
because
I don't know. I don't know firsthand, but
so a lot of guys say that the girls use their teeth too much. So unless you got a gummy, you don't really appreciate it until you know what it's like when you don't ever get any teeth.
yeah. So here's a 1-star review from Big J. Big J says, "What is going on with this place? I couldn't find a hot girl in here if I came in with her myself. The managers do nothing but follow dances around like a bunch of arrogant teenage dudes. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for a drink for about 20 minutes and my food is cold when we get it. I was with 9 people. No, I was with 9 people and none of us will be back." 1 star.
Damn,
I
the
think it
food.
meant Hef, not her.
Oh.
With
Oh,
Hef,
sorry.
Hugh Hefner.
Like you mean like who after? I fucked up one of those lines. It says, let me just read that part. What is
Yeah, let's read it again.
Let me just read the first part again. "What is going on with this place? I couldn't find a hot girl in here if I came in with Hef himself." Okay, my bad. Hugh Hefner, my bad. Blah blah blah. And then the managers followed answers, and
Okay, I got it. I got it. Hugh
but that
Hefner.
doesn't really change. It's same shit though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you know, it is true. Anywhere Hef showed up, he had some hotties on his arm. So yeah, I get it. I get it.
True. All right, let's see. This is a 2-star review from Horny Business Traveler. Was very descriptive in his title and his username. Horny Business Traveler says, 2 stars. "I agree that there is more silicone implanted in the boobs of these dancers than there is on the beach at Galveston. The girls look good, and I did not find them to be prima donnas or pre-madonnas, as the other dude said. While the girls were good looking, there were just too few of them. It was difficult to get any private time with them. I left and I went to Treasures and had a much better time." So the horny business guy traveled to Treasures.
How far is Treasures? And where's Saint? What was it? Saint John's? Like,
No, this
Uh,
is the. Hold on one sec.
it was St. James.
oh, Saint James. Saint James. It's so weird. Isn't that a gospel? Like a Bible name? Anyway, we'll get into that. But
Yeah, it
it's
could be
weird.
another strip club.
I know, but it's weird that people mention other strip clubs in their reviews for strip clubs. It's just because you don't ever see a review for the Olive Garden where they're like, I just went to Red Lobster. You know, like usually they stay on topic. It's just weird how we'll be reading a strip club review and they'll mention other strip clubs. Like it's really interesting.
Mhm. All right, here's a one-star review from Maxi. It says the food is subpar and overpriced, and the dancers try to scam you. The managers are uppity and snobby as well. The dancers won't even pay attention to you unless you want to drop hundreds. One star.
Damn.
Here's a four-star review from David. It says it's kind of a funny story, but my friend recently got wait, you're gonna have to help me figure out what this. What does ROTD mean?
I really didn't know either. I thought it was some sort of STD, but I don't know.
ROTD. Hold on.
Let me Google it.
Let me go to Google. Hold on.
I did that prior.
Oh, you did that already?
Yeah, and it was just like review of the day. I'm like, well, that wouldn't even make sense.
Uh,
Rule of the dollar?
I don't know.
Hold on. Maybe it's ROT apostrophe deed.
Like,
Let me try a different way. ROT deed. No, I don't know what it means. I don't know. It's the Houston slang that we're gonna have to figure out because nothing is coming up for it.
Okay, let me just try one other outlet. Or whatever. Did you try Urban Dictionary yet?
I'm on Urban Dictionary now, and it says review of the day.
Oh, what about, let's see, recipe of the day, record of the day, rise of
rant of the day.
Maybe it's like recipe of the day. I don't know. All right, let me just read the review.
Yep.
Okay, it's a kind of funny story, but my friend really recently got ROTD for this place, and I was probably one of those so-called friends acting a fool here after hitting up the clubs. You know why? The breakfast buffet. Who wants to see jacked up teeth, bad breath, and cigarette smoke at Denny's when you can have a breakfast buffet with made to order omelets? Why there is topless dancers instead? Yes, count me in. I think it's ROTD is recipe of the day because it's talking about food.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
Trust me, I think I'm right. So that's that.
Well, there's ready. What did he say? Made to order omelets.
Yeah.
So wait, they're serving breakfast, so that means that you can go to the strip club in the morning.
Yes, and at 2 a.m.
Oh, so they'll serve you. Oh, it's like a Denny's. They'll serve you an omelet anytime.
So let's say
I kind of want to go there.
Let's say you went to the bar, like a regular dive bar, got drunk as fuck, and then at 2 a.m. you're like, let's get omelets and look at titties.
Yeah.
That definitely sounds like a good time, right? Like, can you imagine if Denny's had topless waitresses, then Denny's would be the most amazing place in the world.
Oh, I don't know about that.
They serve breakfast at 2 a.m. Wait, do you hate Denny's? I actually think Denny's food is really good. You need to be a little bit drunk.
I'm talking about the servers. I'm talking about the servers.
It'll be like going to Waffle House, but then you have like pancake titties in your face.
Well, okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring.
Pun intended.
They'd have to do a little better recruitment, but yeah.
I'll see if I can find their Instagram page, but I was looking at their food. It looked pretty solid. I'm like, I would go here, and they're open till 4. I would definitely go here.
Sherry says, "Blah." Anyway, okay. Next review, 1-star review from CRR. CRR says, "Way too many prima donnas who aren't shit without their fake boobs. Too pushy. Girls will not chat at all unless you commit to a dance. Dances weren't that great unless you play in the NBA. You won't have much fun here. The restroom valet dude was cool. That was the only bright spot. I will not go back."
Oh, okay.
True. Okay, here's a 3-star review from Emerson. It's a little long of a review. The place had the best special going: free cover, free buffet, and $1.50 wells and beer until $7 p.m. every day. There was a cute Doro girl, and the decor was awesome. I recently returned to the men's club, and wow, have things changed? The cute Doro girl's gone, and she was replaced with a Doro guy. Come on, I'm paying my cover to a guy now. Oh, and there's a cover. Granted, it's only $3, but still, free is not $3. You know what I mean? I went inside and the buffet has been replaced with something that resembles chili or mincemeat or something and week old tortilla chips. Also, it's weird and hard to describe, but the main stage sits awkwardly high, way too high if you're seated at a table next to the stage. The girls are cookie cutter similar, blonde, no butt, fake chest, 19 to 30, with a variation of that sprinkled sorry, with a variation of that sprinkled around for diversity. The decor is the saving grace of this place. It's nice inside. They have an outdoor swimming pool, and the VIP area, champagne room, and dance booths are some of the nicest I've hypothetically seen. The happy hour is still $1.50, which officially makes this the cheapest place to get a drink in the Galleria area. I'll be back for sure. That reason alone. 3 stars.
I feel like for a review that long, it should have been more than 3 stars because it sounded like he liked it. So I don't know.
Mhm. I mean, yeah, $1.50 drinks for happy hour is pretty good at a strip club.
I know, right? That's pretty good anywhere, right? Like that's pretty good anywhere.
True. Granted, it's like rail drinks. Like well is like a rail drink, right? Well,
Ah,
I think Wells is like rail drink.
yeah.
For my alcoholics in the chat, let me know. Does well drinks mean rail drinks? Anyway, next review. This is a 2-star review from Olivia, which I guess that's a chick. It says, maybe it's because I've been to the champagne room and now the regular part of the club doesn't do it for me. But I was literally bored. The girls were nice to me. The waitress sucked. Why is there a pool in the back? What diseases may be lurking in the water? If you want to be entertained by some dancing, try video.yoohoo.com/network. So that was our review.
Wait, there's a pool in the back?
I guess so. I think, oh, Gina, send those photos to the to George or the group chat.
So wait, is the pool like
I
operational?
sent the pictures of the food in the menu. Let me Google image, like Google map it, see if I can see the pool because I didn't see it
'Cause
on their Instagram.
I'm curious about the pool. Like, is it a functional pool or is it like a drained pool?
I assume it's like a legit pool.
Like you can go swimming at the strip club. Like I don't swim, but I don't know. That sounds like a vibe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure like the pool is probably part of like you got to pay extra to be back there or something.
Well, yeah, that would be like the champagne area. I mean, maybe not. I don't. So now I have like a million questions. So like, do they have like a stripper pole in the pool and she's doing like water
I
tricks?
don't
Oh
know.
no, I feel like
Google Maps isn't showing it. God
I
dang.
need to know. I have never thought of putting a pool in a strip club, but the possibilities are just endless to me now. They could have a stripper pole coming out of the pool, and she could like dive into the water and start
Or-
doing like trick. Like now,
or it'd be fun if like they had that like floating like volleyball net, so you could play like volleyball in the pool with like strippers.
Yes.
see now, this is our business plan. Now we're gonna open a strip club pool hall, or like I don't know. This is like the endless possibilities. My mind is like going crazy at this point. Like there could be water volleyball with topless girls, and you pay a cover, and then it's like you and your
Oh
friends.
my God, there is a pool.
No, I know. I assume there is a
Yeah,
legit
he said
pool.
there was a pool, but like,
But it's outdoors. Hold on.
Send us.
wait, so the pool is not inside.
No, and
Oh,
there's
so
no
you
stripper pole,
can't do
George.
like topless volleyball because yeah, that's
Well,
not
no, but if
illegal.
it's no, when outside, but it's still enclosed, like there's still a wall and shit. Like there's a
Oh, okay. So it's just not in like the main building, but it's like enclosed. That's the possibilities are still there. Okay. Like I don't know. Like the possibilities are still there. Like you know how they have the little ride where you spray the people with the water gun. Like what if the girls were in the pool and you get like the little water guns that are mounted and you can spray their tops? Then
You
you
just
have
got to make sure they're wearing white bikinis
well, yeah, they gotta have
or
like the
no
white bikini.
bikinis.
yeah. For our Patreon people, I just uploaded the bird's eye view of the pool.
Wait, I'm gonna go there because I want to see it. Let me go on
I
Facebook.
sent it to the group chat.
No, you
You
didn't.
sent it to me, and then I don't think
Yeah,
it's to the
you
group.
didn't send it to the group chat.
Sent it to.
Oh, I only sent it to you. My bad. My bad. Hold on.
No, I'm gonna go.
Well, dude, go on Patreon for the
I'm on Patreon.
and then Gina can send you the other photo sheets. I mean, if you want the food photos. But
I just want to see this. This is like blowing my mind. Oh my god, I can see the pool. It's
yeah, but I
shaped
told
like
you
a heart. Get the fuck out. It's shaped like a heart. Get out of here right
that's
now.
so romantic. It's like,
It's like the honeymoon suite. Like, this is crazy. Oh yeah, you're right. It is enclosed. There's like a gate around it. So yeah, you could totally do like volleyball in there.
yeah, do volleyball with strippers, and then their tits flap in the air when they spike the ball.
Wait, Lori said and she just met Kevin Smith. That's something that I would like to discuss later. My bad, my bad. I'm in the Patreon. My bad.
Okay, so we have like 3 more reviews. Should I read them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a 1-star review from Brian. If you want to spend $100 to see a girl act like she does, wait, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Let me just read it again. If you want to spend $100 to see a girl act like she does not know what planet she is on, go here. That's it.
Oh, so she doesn't, not that she doesn't know where she is, she doesn't know what planet she's at currently on.
Yeah. Okay, this is a super long. I think it's a woman wrote it, Farah. Super long review, but I think it's about the food. Okay, I'll try to read it fast because it's kind of like War and Peace. It says, I have 2 words for you: breakfast buffet. Sorry to disappoint you, pervs. If you just left the bar at 2 a.m. and refused to call it a night, like yours truly and company, you could head over to Ruchi's for a late night eats. Or, oh wow, I promise this isn't going where you think it's going. You can go to the men's club for a buffet of late night eats, the killer breakfast buffet. We're talking rows of mile high flapjacks, hash browns, meats, pastries, gravy, butter. I'm a huge breakfast buff, and the men's club is where it's at, folks. I came here on a Saturday night with my buds Nick and Andrew, along with my dear high school friend Jeremy, who was visiting from Howard University. I was all game for doing some after partying, and the $10 cover charge wasn't nearly as bad as what you ladies have to pay at Treasure. Also, unlike Treasure, I've never had a bad experience with a sexist store guy or dancers at the men's club. I think they understand the bottom line. The money is money, no matter who it comes from. So as the boys' eyes were glued to the dancers on stage and chairs walking around, etc., my chubby face was planted dead center in the middle of the platter of Aunt Jemima goodness. We've had talks about doing their Is It Wednesday? Um, Oh, sorry. We've had talks about doing their Is It Wednesday lunch, which includes filet mignon and beer, but it hasn't happened yet. Overall, I recommend going for food and entertainment. Just don't go inebriated. These ladies can smell you from a mile away. As my one friend, no names here, later realized that 10 lap dances from various hot chicks doesn't mean they like you. Pay up, sucker. 3 stars from Farah.
Wow, that was a lot for a 3-star review.
Yeah. For the way she loves the food, I feel like she should put 4 stars.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say if they have a banging buffet, you gotta be at least 4 stars. Because we
At 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
well, remember we were reading the one in Cleveland and it basically they said that you could catch an STD just by like touching something. So like if they have banging food that won't kill you, you should at least give it a 4-star.
Mm-hmm. Sure, all right, we have one last review, and can you guess who it's by?
I'm gonna say it's by XXX Beast.
Yeah, it is, and it's kind of short though, which is sad because I could read his reviews like all day and night.
But he was in Houston, right? So he made his rounds through Houston this time, right?
Yeah. So are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Again, I haven't read this yet, all right? And it's pretty short, but all right, mute your mics for Triple X Beast. Here goes. Triple X Beast 1-star review. He says, "This place sucks. A group of 11 guys just got kicked out for no reason whatsoever. We're gentlemen. Forget this place. You'd be better off getting off at Denny's." 1 star. That's it.
That's ironic. I was talking about Denny's earlier. So XXX Beast was kicked out.
Him and his 10 other homies
of this club. That's crazy. Can you imagine getting kicked? What do you have to do to get kicked out of a
He was
strip club?
probably with like 10 like sailor guys or assholes.
Well, yeah, I
Navy
was gonna
guys. Yeah.
say 10 sailors that have been probably on a boat with a bunch of men for like 3 or 4
And it's
months.
Fleet Week,
Yeah.
maybe.
So can you imagine like 10 dudes who haven't seen a chick in months? They probably were acting an ass. I can only imagine. You go from not seeing anyone but dudes to seeing topless chicks right in your face. That probably is a lot. But damn. This the first time that XXB said he's been kicked out of a strip club?
As far as I recall, yeah, right, Gina?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I thought he was like strip club royalty. So
Mhm.
the idea that he's actually been removed from a strip club, that's crazy to me. That's wild. Because this man has been all over the country, all over the world, all these strip clubs, and there's places where he is no longer welcome. That's crazy.
Yeah, because he's usually like the mayor of the strip club. He just schmoozes with everyone.
Well, and he usually never says he hates a place, but I can understand the tone of his review. He was actually kicked out, and you're not going to say you like it. So it's very rare that XX Beast gives us a review of a place that he absolutely hates. Even the one in Cleveland that was bulldozed and people said was literally a walking STD, he said was amazing. They was grabbing up on his nuts. He said it was amazing. So the fact that there's one that he hates, that has to speak volumes.
Yeah, maybe he was trying to get in the pool with 10 of his homies, and they're like, sorry, we can't accommodate all you assholes. Yeah, I know y'all like to walk.
Oh, Izzy was right. He wasn't allowed in the one in Hawaii either because they rode up on bikes.
Yo, you're right. They wouldn't let them in because they were on bikes, and he said that they had stacks and stacks of money to spend too, and they wouldn't let them in. You're right.
Mhm.
She's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, XXX Beast has been
Mm,
not allowed in certain strip clubs.
yeah.
So that's but you know what? In order to know that you made it, you have to have some haters. So these strip clubs are hating on the fact that he's a strip club connoisseur. It is what it is.
Yeah, he rolls deep.
He definitely rolls deep. 10 dudes with him at one time. That's a deep roll. That's a very deep roll.
Yeah, I don't think I can't remember the last time I don't think I've ever, I never rolled 10 deep. That's a little too much.
I think the last time I rode 10 deep with people was probably homecoming in high school. There was like 10, 15, 20 of us.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel like
yeah,
college maybe, but other than that.
not even in college. I don't think I ever rode 10 deep with anybody. Like, we would go places,
Mm.
but like, not that many people. Like, I'm not a rapper. Like, I don't have an entourage. I was trying to think of any time I ever had that many people with me at once. And it was probably homecoming,
When you were with when you were with the 90-day bad boys and all the security guards around you.
security guard. Let me tell you, there was no security guards, and actually, like there were other celebrities there too, like Chanel West Coast and this really famous model guy. There was no security. Like don't there wasn't nobody getting secured. Okay, like no, it was just at a house. But yeah,
True. All right.
Damn, I can really go for their steak. Jesus. I'll have to put it on Patreon.
Oh, the
Like
filet.
their food.
oh, I didn't look at the food yet.
Well, don't get me hungry. But anyway, so
Oh,
that
look at their dessert buffet.
Right?
Oh my god.
sounds.
Friday, $5 sides. Oh, well, y'all, this place is very high end. This is very high end.
This place is bougie.
It's bougie. You're right. Look at this menu. But
I mean,
my
$5.
selling
It's
point,
bougie, but then it's affordable if it's $5 sides. No.
well, yeah, it's affordable. They got a $14 pizza and a
Mhm.
$16 truffle pasta. So yeah, this place but for me, it's not even the food, it's the pool. The
Mm.
idea that there's a girl in a strip
Well,
club in a
well, they say
pool.
though you shouldn't go swimming like until it's like 30 or 40 minutes after you finish eating. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's actually true. You're right.
And you
You're
don't
right.
go swimming, George. So
But I would watch the girls in the pool though. Like I don't know. This blows my mind. I don't know why people have not put the two and two together. Like water aerobics, stripping. Like why have people not put this together and like made something out of this? Like this is blowing my mind.
Mhm.
well, when we win the lottery,
Yeah.
It'll
We
be
can make it happen.
it'll be our
We do
business plan.
maybe one day we do like a live podcast at a strip club pool, but then the the sound of the waves splashing might be kind of annoying.
Yeah, you are very stickler about sound
Yeah.
quality. So yeah, I don't know. And also I don't think you should broadcast from a pool just in
Well,
case something falls in the water and then electrocutes everybody.
or you have like an annoying drunk or annoying coked out stripper in the background like cackling.
Yeah, we did hear about some coke baggies tonight. I mean, I don't knock the coke heads. They're very fun. If you
I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying for like a podcast, it might be annoying.
Well, yeah, she's gonna always have something to say, and then you're gonna
Unless it's like, unless it's a podcast where it's like it's for the live. It's I don't know how it would work in like a strip club, but if it was a place that had like an actual seated audience, where
Well, that's what I was gonna say. You know how the comedians today, it's not just their show. They do like audience participation where they pick on the audience and they ask them questions and they make a show out of, the conversation. Like maybe we could do something like that where we walk around and we're like, hey, where are you from? Who are you here with? And you like make it because that's kind of how the comedians do. Like back in the day, the comedians would just go on stage and they would do their whole show and the audience wasn't even there. Like they ignored you. Like now it's very hands-on, it's very call and response.
Interactive.
Yeah. So like maybe we could do like a podcast where we go out and work the crowd. Like we have our little microphone and we like interview people and find out cool stories. Cause that's kind of how we found out about our cool listeners, Lana and Jenny. And the people have such amazing stories and
Mhm.
stuff that the comedians are really tapping in on that. They're like, I'm not the most interesting person here, so I got to go out into the audience and find the most interesting person here and make it a part of the show.
Yeah, no, that's kudos to us because we've been able to pull out amazing stories from our like super fan listeners like Lana and Jenny. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy because it's like we want to pretend that we're interesting, but the people, the listeners that are here, they're the interesting people.
They
Like
make it interesting.
I know. It's like they're the ones that keep us laughing and
Yeah.
us excited, like they're the interesting ones.
Yeah, it's weird how like we have super fans, but then they drop these amazing stories and then we become fans of them too.
Yeah, I'm a huge Lana fan. I'm a huge Jenny fan. Jenny never ceases to amaze
Same.
me, and Lana, it's like she's
Mhm.
the crazy stuff
Life
that
of the
Lana.
party.
I know. It's like, can you
They
imagine
both are.
Oh,
if
and then
Lana wrote a book,
mm,
right? Like, it's just it would be immediately turned into a movie. Like all the stuff that she says that's happened, it's like it will immediately go into a movie.
yeah, oh, and then let me give a shout out to Shabooty's number one fan slash stan is like Anoush is like my biggest fan. So thank you.
Oh, hello, Anoush.
Yeah,
Hello.
she always braids up my day with her kind words, but thank you for all the support.
Oh, that's nice. I've gotten a lot of kind words this week, and I just want to thank everybody for that.
Yeah.
If you follow me on Twitter, you know what's going on. But I've gotten a lot of amazing, kind messages from you guys, and I've read every single one. And thank you. It's been really nice to read all of that.
You know, I was very thankful that you were able to do this show tonight because I know you got a lot going on in your world, uh,
Hmm.
family things going on. But yeah, so I was very thankful you were able to do the show.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I was like, no, I'll do it because I fly out in the morning, and I was like, it would just be it would feel weird to not do it. And I'm from a the show must go on type background. Like I've been in the entertainment industry and I've done different things and I've helped in movies and stuff and radio. So I'm kind of in that like the show must go on thing. So I'm one of those people who I perform really well under pressure, I guess. And I'm one of those people where there could be like a lot going on in my head, but
Yeah.
I could get through the show
Hmm.
before people figure it out. And I think I have a good poker face, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, before I get on the plane tomorrow and walk into this insanity and this horrible situation that I'm going through right now, it would be really fun and uplifting to do my normal routine, and I think that when people they waddle in depression and sadness, they miss out on good moments. And I feel like this is a good moment for me. It's uplifting for me, and I want to do this before I get into that.
Yeah. Oh, and then one thing I always think about just during the doldrums of the work week is where or just all the shit going on, like where it's kind of funny because like where there is drama, like 90-day drama, there's always bullshit in the community and all the shit that's going on. And then I always laugh internally because I'm like, anytime people want to give like if let's say I piss off a cast member or something and then they want to like come at me or stress me out or something. The funny part is like if a cat I'm just speaking hypothetically, but like if a cast member stresses me out, my stress outlet is the podcast. So if like your goal if you're a hater of the podcast and you stress me out or whatever, but then the podcast is how I alleviate the stress, all you're gonna do is make me do a better podcast, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've noticed that because there was that one comment that popped up this week, and it was just like, oh, no, no. And I was like, all you're doing is giving constructive criticism. Like whatever you disliked about the show, we'll take that into consideration. But there's a lot of people that liked it, and it just makes you strive to do better and to grow and expand your horizon. And so I've learned to take all types of criticism. I've been doing this for too long, and I know that everybody is going to have an opinion, and they're not always going to be favorable. So you just kind of have to take it as like a constructive criticism. Like I look at it as I used to tell my in my old positions, like, what do you think I did wrong? And I use it as like a performance review. Like, oh, well, you shouldn't have done this, and you shouldn't have done, and it's like a performance. I just take it and I use it to get better. And you're not going to discourage me. You're not going to make me quit. So that's not going to happen. You're just helping me get better.
Yeah, like this podcast for me, at least, is kind of like my therapy. So that's how I use this outlet as like a therapeutical outlet. So that's why nothing's gonna make me stop the podcast when I use this this is actually a good like mental release to do the show. So why would I stop ever?
Well, right. Yeah. And I remember when I first started my individual podcast for the first year, I didn't have any listeners. No one cared. I was spending money. I didn't make a dime. It was a waste but it was therapeutic. Like you said, for me, it was my time that I got to do something that I enjoyed. And at that point, I didn't care if anybody enjoyed it because I enjoyed it. So that's kind of how I look at it. It's like even if one person likes it and I like it, then we get to like it together. And that's more than enough for me,
True. So I think that's a good note to end on because I know you have like a flight and everything going on tomorrow.
Yeah, I got a flight tomorrow, and then there's some serious stuff that I have to deal with. So yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have you in our prayers for sure.
Thank you very much for all of the support from everyone. It's been a rough time, but what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So
And Lana says, let me just read a couple comments before we end it. Like she says, like sometimes we need the distractions, George. Lana says, yes, you're exactly right. You all helped me heal after losing my husband. And
oh.
yeah, and like Sherry says, sending prayers. Sherry says, I look forward to this on Friday nights. Blessings, George. And then Lori says, sending hugs, George. Oh, I do want to apologize to someone sort of. Earlier we did that segment, like, was I an asshole or not? Here's like so let me just say something real quick. If you're gonna hop into the Zoom and listen, like rename your username from like Zoom user to like a real name that we would know. Because for shits and giggles, there was a Zoom user earlier, and I was like, you know what? Let me just kick him out because who knows? It could be like a mole. So I kicked him out. Then I got a DM from one of my Twitter followers, and they said, "Hey, why did you kick me out?" But so anyway, use a name instead of Zoom user, so I don't get freaked out for future reference.
Oh
We need to know who you
no.
are, Zoom user.
Yeah, you gotta rename. It doesn't have to be your name. Like
Yeah.
you can like call yourself whatever, but it shouldn't say Zoom user. Only because, guys, from the first time we did Zoom, I think it was the craziest thing. I was trying so hard to keep a straight face and keep going with all the furry porn on my it was so crazy. So we just want to make sure that nobody sneaks in here and does something like disruptive like that. Because first of all, I didn't want to use Zoom. Okay, I didn't want to do it. And then the very first time we ever did it, I'm trying to recap the show and do the show, and Shabooty is trying to delete all of the craziness off the screen. And every time he deletes 2 things, 4 more things pop up. And my mind is only as sharp as my age. Okay, so I was really like, this was the most struggle I've ever had in my life to keep professionalism alive. Like, I'm very professional. You know, I've done this for a long time, but that was like the most work that I had to keep. I just wanted to bust out laughing and just stop so bad. Like, it was just so difficult. Like, I don't even know what I was saying. I was just like saying words, so I didn't just start laughing.
No, you kept your like professional broadcaster thing going on, so I was very impressed when I listened to playback.
It was not easy, and oh my gosh, I was watching a Twitter video today, and apparently some girl on some news channel, you might have saw it. She was doing an interview, and then she like fainted. Did you see that video?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and it kind of reminded me of that. And what was crazy to me was the guy standing or sitting next to her. He just kept reading the teleprompter and didn't like try to help her off the floor. And I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. Because Shabooty, you're gonna get me to start watching the news again. Because every time you tell me about something that happened on the news, it's so interesting. I'm like, I cannot believe I don't watch the news. When you told me that people were saying JD Vance was banging a couch and he acknowledged it in an interview, I was like, I should be watching the news. And then I saw this video of this chick doing an interview and she literally fainted and fell face first to the floor. And then the guy across from her literally just acted like she wasn't face planted on the floor. I was like, I do need to watch the news because this is better than TV.
Yeah, I saw that clip. That was funny. The guy was, instead of like rushing to her aid, he was still, like talking, still doing the news.
Well, that's not my level of professionalism. I don't pretend like someone didn't pass out. And like that's it's okay to say, you know, technical difficulties, go to commercial and try to help the person who just face planted. Like, I'm not that type of guy. Like, he literally just acted like, do you remember there was a video back in the day? We're getting off subject, but it was Beyonce, Kelly, and Michelle, and they were singing The Soldier. So I Want a Soldier.
So you mean Destiny's Child,
basically. And I think Kelly fell and Beyonce walked over her, and then was it Kelly? No, or was it Michelle? Michelle fell and they walked over her like she wasn't on the ground and they just kept singing. That's not okay, guys. Like, if somebody falls or face plants or gets hurt, you're not supposed to just let the show go on. You should at least help them up. You know, like, that's ridiculous.
True. Yeah, so anyways, it's pretty late. It's like almost 2 a.m., so we should probably end it.
Yeah, I got to get to bed. I have an early flight, and you know I am not a morning person, so I have to get to bed.
True. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. I'll put this on Apple, Spotify on Saturday. So thank you for listening to 90 Day Fiance Fridays on
Friday. Well,
Friday.
Peace out.
Peace out, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.